Hey guys, come join Rex and Robbie on The Experience this Monday, August 1st at 6 p.m. Eastern. There is an incredible lineup all ready for you. We got new CGCs, new CCAs, metal books, and more. There's most likely going to be a giveaway, which I will pick out personally. So, reminder, August 1st, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on The Experience. Hope to see you then.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. In fact, welcome to Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Bills. How is everybody doing? Station, pop, pop, boom, if you know what I'm talking about. That's right, everybody. Excited to be here on a Sunday night. I had a splendid weekend, a splendid day of relaxation and chilling. I hope you did as well. Once you get in the chat, let us know that you're here. Throw out a station, throw it out pop, pop, boom, throw out whatever the hell you want. Because we're all here tonight to celebrate movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. And we're going to be talking about them. And we got a great show planned for you tonight. Of course, we'll be looking back, how far back in time to last week, talking about our favorite comic books from last week. Then we'll be looking ahead at what's coming up in shops this week, including the DC sneak peek. DC's got books out this week. I read them. I'm going to let you know what I thought about them. We're going to be talking about the movie Nope, the latest effort from Jordan Peele. I got some thoughts. I'm going to share them. And then we're going to be doing Image in the 90s. Of course, we did Youngblood #1 last week, so we're doing Youngblood #2 this week. We're going to be talking about our top 5 movies of 2011. Is it a better year for cinema than 2010? Slightly. But it's starting a bad trend. We'll see how this develops over the coming weeks. Plus a little bit of show and tell, all that and more here. But even though we have a plan, grandiose some even call it, this show is driven, fueled if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. So get them in right now. What do you want to chat about? What do you want to talk about? What's going on? First of all, let me tell you also, you can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. And I promise, the Mel Brooks podcast is in my head right now to edit and get released, and then we will set the date to record the next podcast. Podcasts are going to be slow. That's just the reality of the situation, unfortunately, but I'm excited about our next episode, which will be all about Image Comics. We definitely have to do that before the end of the year because this is the 30th anniversary. Anyway, all that being said, you should follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can find me over on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie, and you can support the channel over at patreon.com/PCP like these fine gentlemen right here. And ladies, who knows? I don't want to misgender or assume anybody's gender, but all of these fine PCP patrons and patriots, one and all, right there. Thank you for your support. I want to highlight out Dustin real quick. Dustin, thank you so much. You got something nice on the way. Speaking of supporting the channel, you can also do so with a super chat, which I see that my main man, Verno, from the Cerebros has done. Been too long since I showed my homie some love. No, it hasn't. It was just yesterday when we hung out on Dylan's Horror Show. Verno, one of the co-hosts along with me on Dylan's Horror Show almost every Saturday night. It's absolutely a fantastic, fun time. Vern, you're my dog. I love you. Diggity-doo. Vern, we really do appreciate that. You really help us out. Every super chat helps out, but you really, what was I going to say? Shine a little light on me sometimes, Verno, man. One of my favorite things about YouTube, and there's a lot of favorite things, including meeting all of you and interacting with all of y'all, but being able to have a friendship with this dude who lives far away from me that I've never met in person, Verno, one of my homies. I love this dude. So thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Let's see. Let's look up at the chat real quick. We got Dwayne's a Pain out in here first. Says, out here liking videos before they are broadcast. Hell yeah. Artist formerly known as Jesse say, what is station to all people all over the world? Scarpad's Comic Treks, of course. R.I.P. Nichelle Nichols. Certainly not someone I would want to tell me to go sit in a closet. It is sad. We heard about the passing of Nichelle Nichols today. She obviously played Lieutenant Uhura on the original Star Trek and in those original Star Trek movies. So that really does it's a bummer. Plus, Bill Russell passed away today. I'm not really a fan of the Celtics at all. But dude won a lot of rings and went through a lot of shit for the Celtics and for that city. So, a station to them all. In fact, let's do a station moment of silence for Nichelle Nichols and for Bill Russell. All right, we got Perry Comics up in the house with the station. What is up, Perry? We got Taki up in the house. Pop, pop, boom. That's right. Circumstances is in the house. What is up, my man? Taki is in the house. I already said that. Two Gun Pedro is in the house. Pop, pop, boom. All up in the room. We got Fable, one collection down. My man, how you doing? How you doing? Happy to see all these shiny faces here tonight. Let's see. We got Comic Book Therapy in the house. We got Spilio in the house. I have something to say. It's better to burn out than fade away. Station everyone. Circumstances urges everyone to make love to that like button. I agree. Really helps out the channel. Let everybody know. Share. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let everybody know this is the hippest place to be if you're in the comic book community on Sunday nights. It's Rockin Robbie Live. What is up? We got Phil in the house. All these blue wrenches are blinding me. We got Joram. What is up? Joram. We got Sleepy Reader 666. Damien joined us for the first time on this channel on Friday night when we did the monthly comic book review, where I have a panelist of comic book readers and reviewers to discuss the best comics of the month. We covered June and July. It was a great conversation. Damien was there. Nick was there from Comic Culture. And Manny was there from Manny's different perspectives by way of Tomorrow Cinema. So really great conversation. If you missed out on that show, definitely watch it on the replay. We talked about some banging ass books that definitely need to be on your radar. Center 24 in the house. Yes, Bill Russell did. Yeah, Mr. 11 Rings. One more than Shang-Chi. You're not wrong. You're right, actually. Never thought about it that way. And of course, my man Scarpad, the other lovely co-host of Dylan's Horror Show. Scarpad's Comic Treks is in the house. R.I.P. the lovely Nichelle Nichols, my first crush. Hailing frequencies closed. Thank you so much for that scar pad. We really do appreciate it. And as well as Verno, a fantastic panelist, joining us every week on Dylan's Horror Show. Last night we talked about The Night Flyer, the Stephen King movie, The Night Flyer. We had a good conversation about that. I was really digging that. So everybody needs to check that out if you haven't already. We got Glenn in the house. What is up, Glenn? PE Freak 520, Robbie, love the show, man. First time I've actually been able to catch it live. Wow. Station, thank you for being here, PE Freak 520. So, are you such a physical education freak that you have to delay your 420 to 520? Like, you need that extra hour? What's going on there? Anyway, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We got William in the house. What is the next Kung Fu film to review? Man, I don't even remember. It's not going to happen for a while, but it's... Did I write it down? Tai Chi. Is that Zero? Tai Chi Zero, maybe? Can't really read my handwriting there. Tai Chi Hero? Tai Chi Zero? I don't know. Y'all tell me. We'll get Bullseye Bob to tell me. But I think especially because the next show is starting in August, and you know what? I'm like, screw it. I'm so ready for Horror Fest to start. I'm going to go full board into the John Carpenter stuff in August, September, and October. We'll see how far we get through his catalog. So next week, we'll be doing Halloween. John Carpenter's Halloween. But it's Tai Chi Zero, Tai Chi Hero, Tai Chi Hero. Who knows? I can't read my handwriting there. Bill Simmons had a great interview with Bill Russell with Michelle gone. I have to love Zoe more. All right, station for that. We had another William in the house. What is up, William? William Woodard. Yeah, a lot of people have been dying. Eric is in the house. Station. Eric, send me your address, and I'll send you a copy of Agent of the World. I got one for you. Don't even worry about it. I got it. You let me know. I'll send it to you. Perry throwing out a link to Dylan's Horror Show from the Night Flyer last night. That's awesome, but nobody watched that until after we're done. Come on. Watch it after the show. Watch it after the show, man. Oh, a Philadelphia Eagles freak. Hell yeah, that makes some sense. I just thought you were like into like the gym, and you're like, man, I got a gym at 4:20, so I got to delay my pleasure. Anyway, CMA Thunder is in the house. What is up? Halloween can't come soon enough. You know it. Billy Power Max is in the house. Bruh, you are looking clean and good. Must be doing some nice clean eating. It's all broccoli, rice, and fucking chicken from my man, Billy Power Max. I tell you that. All right. Let's see what's going on. PCP mystery boxes are available for this week. We got 10 available. All of the PCP mystery boxes from last week, they're on the way. They're shipping out. They're to you right now. So now that that's cleared out, we got room for 10 more. So if you are interested in a PCP mystery box, email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com. They are $30. That includes shipping. They will include comic books, a lot of comics, and other little tidbits and surprises, including a sketch from me. Why not? Tomorrow night on PCP Movie Night, we're continuing Action Fest with the winner of the 2022 Action Fest movie poll, chosen by y'all out there in the PCP Army. We're going to be talking about True Lies. That's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time, James Cameron movie. You can't find it anywhere to rent, purchase, or stream digitally right now. This is one of those movies lost in the ether. Makes the case for physical media. And then on Dylan's Horror Show for Saturday, we're doing a double feature. It's a full moon double feature. We're going to be talking Puppet Master. That's Dylan's pick. Actually, it's Dylan's audience pick. And we're going to be talking about Sorority Babes in the Slime Bolo-rama. That's my pick, and that stars Linnea Quigley. So we got 2 great movie reviews coming up. Be sure to join the conversation live. Monday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, we're talking about True Lives on PCP Action Fest. And then on Dylan's Horror Show for a full moon double feature, we're doing Puppet Master and Sorority Babes and the Slime Bolo-rama. Both of those available to watch for free on Tubi. And of course, join me tomorrow night over at The Experience, as Amy shared at the beginning of this live stream. I'll be there at 5 p.m. Central Time for 2 hours with Rex. We're going to be having a grand old time talking about all kinds of pop culture stuff. He really wants to get into like the future of the DCEU and the MCU and all that kind of stuff. Plus, they have a lot of great collectibles and all that kind of stuff available. So there you go. Tai Chi Zero, not that 2012 Chinese 3D film. I have no idea. Is that what it is? Seems weird. Here's an old man Superman I drew for some reason randomly today. I was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I wound up drawing that. And when I say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm talking about the 2014 one. I watched that for the first time, y'all. There's some positivity in that movie. But there's a lot wrong with that movie, so definitely we're going to be talking about that soon, because the finale of Action Fest is all 6 Ninja Turtle films. So we'll be talking about the 3 originals, the animated one, and the 2 Michael Bay produced ones. And you know what, man? I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I started with that one because I was like, I have never seen them. I'm going to watch these newer ones before I watch the old school ones. I think I made a good, wise decision there. Who knows? Spirit Halloween's opens on Thursday, says Perry. Can't wait. Ha! So is Superman Space Age any good? I think it's really good. It's my pick of the week. Also, on the monthly review, on Friday night, we all had lovely things to say about it. We'll be talking about it actually not too long from now. And I'll be showing you artwork from it and explaining some of my thoughts about it. I see a Punisher book on sale for me tomorrow on tomorrow night show, says Spilio. Wallet is lighter when I watch that show. You know, why do they even bother? Like, why not just be like, yo, Spilio, you want this? It's yours. Ninja, rap, ninja, rap. Say, go, ninja, go. That's right, Frankie. How you doing? The original Ninja Turtle film is a classic. It had no business being as good as it was. You're right. It was like an independently produced film, and it was straight up inspired by the comic book over the animated series. And that's one thing that's different about the 2014 one, is that is more in line with the animated series, and it's got some highlights. I'm going to be honest with y'all, but it's got a lot of lowlights. Speaking of lowlights, there's never a lowlight with CMA Thunder with the Super Chat. Ever reviewed the Ip Man series? Totally awesome. Yes, we did that on this channel. That was one of the movies that Bob suggested to me, was Ip Man. So I've only seen the first one, but I fucking loved it. Eventually, I need to do a better job of clipping out some of the segments from these shows, because sometimes you want to revisit them. You want to revisit a conversation or something, and it's hard to remember which Rockin Robbie Live it's on. Now, I do that with the Marvel in the 90s and the Image in the 90s and all that stuff, and those are coming back in clipped out segments. I've been working on clipping them out, but more stuff will be clipped out, and I'm even thinking about having a random batch of, like, Robbie's Kung Fu movie journey, like an hour video of, like, however many movies or some shit like that. I don't know. I'm definitely going to do that with the John Carpenter one. When we're done with that, I'm going to clip them all into one video. That's like every John Carpenter movie reviewed and discussed. But CMA Thunder, thank you so much for the Super Chat. And all Super Chats do help fund the Rockin Robbie 2022 tour. The next stop is in Memphis for the Memphis Comic Expo. That's going to be September 24th, and I believe we will even be there, possibly, on the 25th. Hey, yo. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had a sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters.
Shit!
Now he fights with a man who's a fish named Abe. And now he fights with a fire starter named Liz. And an ectoplasmic mess named BPRD. Thank you so much for all the love already. We really do appreciate it. A mighty hearty station to everybody joining us tonight. We appreciate every single super chat. It really helps out the channel, and it funds and fuels what we want to do, how we want to bring positivity, energy, and vibrancy to this goddamn comic book community and spread out and even indoctrinate more people into realizing how fucking awesome illustration together with perfectly placed words in the comic book format can change goddamn lives. So thank you all so much for making this dream true. Hell yeah. Now it's time to really kick everything off with the first 5. First 5. All right, we've been going through the Blu-ray collection. We're in the tease. Now let's continue on the journey. Got a Criterion movie, The Third Man. I believe they actually lost the rights to this. I think you can get another Blu-ray from another company, but I'm glad I got the Criterion edition of it. I love this movie. Orson Welles is in it, as well as Joseph Cotten. That is his name, right? Joseph Cotten. Is it you? Yes, it's Joseph Cotten. I love this movie. Definitely got to be talking about this on the gotta definitely talk about this, I think, on the PCP movie night sometime soon. For sure. I love that movie. It's a great movie. Moving on. That's Thor. It's one of the movies from 2011. Maybe it will appear on tonight's top 5. Maybe it will appear in the honorable mentions. I don't know. But I actually really like the first Thor film. Seems like it gets a lot of flack. A lot of people are like, well, Ragnarok's way better. Okay, that's fair enough for you. But for me, this is still the best Thor movie out there. And I think we can all agree that the worst one is Thor: The Dark World. This movie sucks. But I own a lot of sucky movies in my collection, so why not that one? Next up, I don't have any more Thor movies. I need to get Ragnarok. There was a certain time where I collected every superhero movie, no matter what, pretty much. Then I kind of like didn't get Elektra, and I didn't get Ghost Rider. I've never seen Ghost Rider. The Nicolas Cage movies, I've never seen either of those. Like, I know I'm going to have to do it one day. We're going to make a bit out of it. It's going to be fun. But anyway, but now, like, I collected every MCU film to a point. I still, guess, want them, but, like, they're so accessible, like, on Disney+. However, maybe one day they'll True Lies this shit, and you'll never be able to find Thor 2. Or maybe they'll re-edit it, and George Lucas that shit up. Special edition. Thor 2, The Dark World, the special edition. And they're going to add in shit, right? And actually, with that one, maybe they should. Maybe that would make the movie a little bit better. Next up is the Dario Argento film. It's Trauma. I've only seen this film one time, and it was way back in the day, and I got it from like a shady, skeevy fucking movie store that was like only there for like 6 months. But I just picked this up this year because Vinegar Syndrome did this awesome new version of it with a new scan. It's got a new scan, right? Don't tell me I'm lying. I think I'm lying about the new scan, y'all. Nope, newly scanned and restored in 4K. There you go. It's not a 4K, it's just a Blu-ray. So don't have a 4K player. Got the TV now, though. Got the TV. Anyway, Trauma, Dario Argento. And to wrap up tonight's final first 5, we got Trick or Treat. And this is the Scream Factory version with the slip and the reversible cover. Trick or Treat is the best movie about Halloween ever. We did a review on it last year, 2 years ago, during Horror Fest on Dylan's Horror Show. Definitely check out that and scoop it up if you haven't already. Verse 5. All right, let's take a look back up at the chat. Let's see, where were we? All right. KR with a go ninja, go, hell yeah. Punisher with our guns is like Superman. What? Punisher without guns is like Superman without a cape. You're referring to the new Punisher series in which he's got swords and shit, right? Well, that's part of the story. He doesn't like using the swords. He doesn't like being a part of the Hand. Like, this isn't the way it's gonna be. Like, they're already doing some really interesting kind of stuff, I think, with the Punisher. I like it. Bobby De La Ghetto's in the house. Station. What about the TMNT concert, man? That was wild. I remember buying the cassette from Pizza Hut. Yes, I had the VHS from Pizza Hut coming out of our Shells tour. I actually have a program from that tour that I bought at the Memphis Comic Expo. Last time there was a Memphis Comic Expo, which was 2019. So I need to find that, pull it out, and show it off one day again. But yes, I remember that shit. You can luckily, it's been preserved here on YouTube. You can find everything. I remember very vividly the Splinter doing Tai Chi, singing his fucking shit. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Hey, we got Nick in the house, cooking and listening in. What are you cooking, Nick? I'm curious. I didn't know. Are you a good chef? I like to toy around, but lately I've just been eating the same shit all the time, just sticking to my plans. But I like cooking. I haven't cooked in a while, actually. Not really. KR says, yes, please clip some stuff up. There are so many times where I want to go back to something and I don't have a clue which live to start. Yeah, I agree. Right? Okay. That's a good idea. Maybe we'll do it more often. I've done it before. I think one time, like for a week or two, I went too ham with it, and I tried to cut out like every other fucking 10 minutes, basically. But yeah, I start clipping some stuff out a little bit. The only thing is they got to get some views, because if they don't get views, then all of a sudden, YouTube's thinking that we're performing lesser. This fucking algorithm shit here is ridiculous. And honestly, I don't care about it too much. But I do want to build the community. I do want to grow. And because I think by growing this channel, we grow positivity, brother and sisterhood in this comic book community. And I think that's a good thing to do. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be clipping some stuff out. I'm working right now on clipping out a bunch of of getting caught up on the Marvel in the 80s, Marvel in the 90s, Image in the 90s, that whole segment that we do. I'm working on that, and we're definitely going to be clipping out the John Carpenter stuff, and I definitely need to go back and do those Kung Fu movies. I should go back and find when I initially did those first Bruce Lee films, because that's what kind of started it, and put that Robbie watches Bruce Lee for the first time. I'd be like Perry. Not a true reaction video, though. You know how that goes. Dwayne's a Pain says, Carpenter, my favorite, Big Trouble in Little China. You mean Big Trouble in Little China? I love that fucking movie. We did a PCP movie night for that last year. You definitely need to check that out. It was a good conversation. Does Vanilla Ice own Ninja Rap, or does he have to pay when we watch it? I don't know. I know that he performs it live, at least the last time I saw him live. I say the last time. The only time I've ever saw Vanilla Ice live, he did Ninja Rap. But you can do whatever you want on stage. I don't know if he owns it. Kara loves the Nick at Night comic review. Hell yeah. We got Mike06 up in the house. What is up, Mike? Sounds like a Hellboy night. Yeah, tonight is on fire, Spillio. I did not ever go see Elvis. I think Elvis died before I was born, Frankie. Unless you mean Elvis Costello. And no, I've never seen Elvis Costello. I would love to see Elvis Costello. She is watching the detectives. Ooh, it's so cute. She'll. Na 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 na. I think Watching the Detectives is my favorite Elvis Costello song. I think it's fair enough to say that. We got Afro X in the house. Legendary station to you, my friend. How are you doing? Have you done an image in the 90s for Gary Carlson's TMNT? No, we have not. So far, we've gone very early. What did we do? We did Max. We did Savage Dragon 1 through 3, that mini-series. We did Wildcats 1 through 4. We're doing Youngblood now. We did Wildstar. We did Shadowhawk number 0. We've done more Marvel stuff than Image, but, we're doing it once a week. That's the way we do it. We got REI in the house station. No, I have not checked out the Paper Girls show on Prime yet. I try to really focus in on my TV shows, right? And right now I'm focused in on The Boys. I got 2 episodes left till I'm completely caught up. So the last episode I watched was Herogasm. And it was awesome. Now, after that week that Herogasm came out, there was all that hype. I was expecting something way crazier, but what we got was really good in the grounded reality. That's ridiculous to say. But in the world of The Boys TV show, Herogasm worked. But knowing what I knew about Herogasm from the comic, I was expecting something a little bit more grandiose, but I actually really preferred the way they handled it in Heroes. Heroes? Oh, my bad. Boys Season 3. Really like Boys Season 1. Overall, I'd give that 4, you digs. I'd give 3.5 Season 2. I liked it, but it kind of lulled a little bit for me. But right now, I'm loving Boys Season 3. Really, really am. If y'all have checked out Paper Girls, let us know what you think. No spoilers. Are you really thinking about coming to MegaCon next year? Yes, but the problem is MegaCon's usually kind of close to Heroes Con, and I can't typically afford to do cons super close together. That's why I just picked 4 for this year, which is actually more cons than I've ever done in a year. So 3 is the most I've done. So 4 will be the biggest for this year, and then we'll see. And one of them, of course, is a horror con. But I'm really pumped to go back to Scarefest. That's all still up in the air. I don't necessarily know who I'm going with or anything. Right now, it's just me solo. Wouldn't that be wild? What if I just went to fuck by myself? Like, and the thing is, at a horror con, nobody fucking knows me there. Like, I'm just some fucking normal, I'm a normal schmo like everybody else. But when I'm at like a Comic Con, some people will know me, right? And I have like more like, I'm in that industry. When I go to a horror con, nobody fucking knows me. And I'm just there like, I'm a total fucking just like, fucking mark when I'm at a horror con. It was awesome. I've only ever been to the one, but it was fucking awesome. I spent so much money. It was great. It's great. But yes, I'm thinking about going to MegaCon. That'd be a real fun one to go to. Are you in that area, Spilia? Spilia also says, saw 1 episode of Paper Girls, really enjoyed it, going to check out more. I do really, really like the comic book series by Cliff Chiang and Brian K. Vaughan, so I'm excited to check it out. Jordi Belair was the colorist on that, I believe. Don't remember who the letterer was. Wu-Tang is in the house. You're not allowed to be positive about comics, don't you know? You have to hate everything and become overly sensitive. Come on. Well, here's the thing. If you want people to hate on comics and be overly sensitive, plenty of channels out there for you. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I'm overly sensitive about is Blade 3. It's never fucking happened. Sinner says, first Thor is the best Thor. Hell yeah. Perry says, I like Thor, and Thor the Dark Brotherhood was A-okay. The Dark Brotherhood? I think you watched the wrong movie, bro. Nah, Perry's going to be shocked that I've never seen a movie. Of all people to be shocked that I have never seen a movie is going to be Perry? Come on, Perry. You ain't seen like most of the movies in existence. Most of us have never seen most of the movies in existence. Nobody has that time. Robbie, got to do a first time watching Ghost Rider. I don't want to cut and edit that shit together, bruh. I'll do it with you. Like if you want to bring me on your channel, we can set it up. I'll film with you. You can cut that shit however you want. We can do my live ass reaction. That would be fun. If you can figure that shit out. I don't know how we would figure that out. We'd have to time watching the fucking movie right or something, but I don't know. you're welcome to invite me on your channel. I'll fucking film that with you. But that's way too much editing for me. I'm the guy that likes to go live and just do it like one motherfucking take. Let's do it. You fuck up, just make fun of yourself and go on. Glenn says Love and Thunder is now the worst. I think Love and Thunder is a little bit better than The Dark World. I would at least give it that. Pitt was an awesome Image book. I agree. I fucking loved Pitt. Del Keown was my shit when I was a kid. In fact, I remember being a kid and thinking the Max was weird, but Pitt was fucking awesome. I think the Max might be the better book now. They both released around the same time. They were both in darker Image, which we covered on Image in the 90s. I remember that. Yeah, we need to clip some of these out. Anyway, so Pitt was fucking awesome. And so I'm pretty sure I got the first 5 issues, and I'm going to try to get them all up, and then we're definitely going to be doing some Pitt comics. Just tell the people at the Horror Con that you know Dylan, man. You'll be like Flynn. You'll be in like Flynn. Maybe I should try that next time, Bobby. You know, Dylan's Horror Show was still a baby when I was at Scarefest. So this year, maybe some people will recognize me. Who knows? I want Dylan to go, man. I'm like, Dylan, it's like halfway. We can almost get there. I think it's like halfway. I think it takes as long. I think it may take longer for me to get to, because it's in Lexington. Anyway, moving on. Can you tell us a little bit about that weird science book you got behind you? EC Comics. Yeah, I love EC Comics. So these are the new paperback Dark Horse EC Archives. They're recolored, which I typically don't like, but I don't mind it here because they do keep the original coloring in mind. But you have artwork in here from Harvey Kurtzman. You got Wally Wood. You got Jack Davis. You got Graham Ingalls. A lot of the same people you would see in like Tales of the Crypt or Vault of Horror or something like that. But Weird Science being Weird Science books, you know, like dark science and shit with all twists. Amazing. Some of the best comic book art you'll ever see are in the pages of EC in the prime of EC. So yeah, they've released a lot of these in hardcover. They're like $50, $60 each sometimes. And I've never invested in that, but I did invest in these. And so now they've done these. And so far I've got every one that's come out. They've done 2 Tales from the Crypt volumes, 2 Vault of Horror, 1 Haunt of Fear, 1 Shock Suspense Stories, 1 Weird Science. I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting that they've done. But they got more coming out, including Incredible Science Fiction, Haunt of Fear Volume 2, Shock Suspense Stories Volume 2. So they're finally doing them in paperback, and those are excellent collections, and I recommend them to all kinds of comic book fans. It is literally some of the best comic book art you will ever see. In fact, they're doing a paperback edition of the EC Artist Edition, and I'm pumped for that because Artist Editions are way pricey. And so when I've started getting some of the paperback ones recently. So I'm really pumped for that. Robbie, all those Star Trek books beside you got me wondering, who's your favorite Starfleet captain station? Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise. I'm a Next Gen baby, to be honest with you. That was like the first Star Trek that I really, really got into. TOS came later. So I'm big into Next Gen, and I'm big into DS9. So I'll also throw Cisco up in there. So Picard, and right underneath him, Cisco. I know you were Wu-Tang. Taki says, I'm also overly sensitive about Jack Kirby. You right about that one. You right. You right. Evil Face Bad says, The Darkness was better than The Pit, my opinion, of course. I might agree with you. I didn't think that then, but I also loved The Darkness back then. Garth Ennis was doing The Darkness. Mark Silvestri. Then you had Del Keown come in. Scott Lobdell was there. Ron Mars came in. I really liked The Darkness. I missed out on that Darkness Complete Collection Volume 1. I need to get that. And right now it's out of stock at all of my distributors, so I can't get it. It'd probably be easier to find every single fucking issue of The Darkness. I know my homie Kevin's done that. And my buddy Kevin is a dollar diver. You know, we probably got the full run of Darkness in my shop. in the dollar bins. But those aren't in order. You know what I'm saying? Those aren't in order. Just got through watching an emotional episode of Buffy. What episode, Taki? I'm curious. Which one? I'm curious. Oh, you live in West Palm Beach. I've been in West Palm Beach. I went down to Pompano Beach one time. Wait. West Palm Beach? Yeah, that's down there. Pompano Beach, West Palm Beach, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Like, that's all down there, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think I've been down that area. I've been to South Florida. I was in Pompano Beach and Fort Lauderdale one time to film a live performance / documentary of a reunion of a cover band named Generator. We filmed this little short. We filmed this little thing for them called Regeneration or whatever. But yeah, so like that was like in like 2006 or something. But I've always wanted to go back down to South Florida. Loved it. Had great memories spending about a week there. And yeah, man, if I go to MegaCon, hell yeah, we'll hang out, get some drinks together. You know it. You know this, man. Evil Face Bad says, just got the Tales from the Crypt Volume 1 like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Hell yeah. Damien says, love that EC sci-fi stuff. Iconic and endlessly influential. Yeah, and I hear that a lot of the cats that did this stuff, like the Kurtzman, Wood, of course, but Kurtzman and Jack Davis. Like, Jack Davis is probably my favorite out of all those EC guys, but I love Al Feldstein, too. He does that stuff. But a lot of them apparently were more into the sci-fi stories they were doing than the horror stuff. It's just that the horror story sold pretty well. Is Gen 13 the best Image team book? I don't know. We'll uncover that mystery here one day. It's not that I don't fuck with Janeway. Janeway's okay. I don't mind Voyager, but it kind of falls apart for me after a bit. Like, I don't mind the first couple seasons of it, though. I ain't rewatched Voyager in like over 20 years. So maybe I should do that sometime. If only there were 4 more hours in the day. We could do so much. We got Bob from Everything Comics in the house. Boom! Hey, the next Kung Fu movie is, it's going to be a while till I do it because we're about to commit to the Carpenter bit for 3 months straight, Bob. But is it Tai Chi Zero? Was that the movie? Tai Chi Zero? I'm having trouble reading my handwriting there. Rob, you need to challenge Jim to a hair versus hair match. Well, right now, he would win because he's got more hair than me because my hair's kind of buzzed down. But a lot of people think I'm bald, and I'm not. I got a lot of hair. I got to grow it out again. I got to try to get my Steve Harrington thing going again. Maybe I should do that. I don't know. Ouroboros Snakes is in Pompano right now. If you got a copy of Johnny Ryan's Barely Human, Crack It Open, Stuff Is Nuts. JC, I don't have a copy, but I have looked at it, and it is fucking nuts. You're right. Tai Chi Hero. Let me write that clear. But the Kung Fu journey is on hold until November at this point, just because for the next 3 months, I want to dedicate into this John Carpenter thing because I want to get through it, and I want to clip it all together in one big video. But while we're doing the John Carpenter stuff, I will be clipping out chunks of the Kung Fu journey to this point, and we'll be doing those. Nice, Billio. I was right. Nice. Season 1, episode 12, the finale. Buffy dies. Xander makes out with her dead body, and she comes back and kicks the Master's ass while Angel watched. Charisma Carpenter was fine. Yes, she is, man. Ugh. Anyway, Cordelia's my jam, bruh. Let me tell you. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one. In fact, that is actually kind of like Whedon's real effort at trying to do the final act of the Buffy movie. Like, it ends with her in the dress with the jacket. To me, that is the iconic image of Buffy Summers. And Buffy is one of my favorite TV shows of all fucking time, I would dare to say. I just purchased a $60 Darkwing Duck figure. Do I need professional help? No. Because I have purchased a Spawn figure worth more than that. I mean, that cost more than that. So, there you go. We got Bane Men in the house. Station. It ain't better than the Batman animated series. Will I be bringing up Big Trouble in Little China? We're going to be doing them all, my man. We're going to be doing all the John Carpenter films, and we're doing them in chronological order, in the order that they were filmed. And I think the only time where that becomes an issue is with Someone's Watching Me and Halloween, because Halloween released first, but Someone's Watching Me was filmed first, right before. And we covered that like a couple weeks ago, right? So we've already done Dark Star, and we've done Assault on Precinct 13, and we've done Someone's Watching Me. The next one's Halloween, and then it's just banger after banger after banger after fucking banger, y'all. We're talking like The Fog. He didn't direct Halloween 2, so we're not going to cover that one, but like The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing. Like, we're in for some really good fucking cinema, and god damn, I love them. Top 5 90s shows. That's a really good top 5 to do. Never thought about doing the sitcoms for a top 5, but we should, definitely. We've definitely done... Sitcoms have been involved in some podcasts. We did an 80s TV podcast. I would definitely recommend checking that one out for sure. Because there's some sitcoms in my top 5, including Cheers, one of my favorite shows of all time. But top 5 sitcoms of the 90s, we're going to be doing that one day because we're about to run out of years. But I'll tell you right now that number 1 is Seinfeld. So... Sleepy Reader 666 is rewatching Buffy with his 14-year-old daughter. Amazing show. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Fable says Buffy Angel is definitely top 5 for me. Hell yeah. The Fog and Escape from New York were masterpieces. Hell yeah. All right, time to go back. How far back in time? To last week. And talk about our favorite comic books from last week. Out of everything you read, what did you think? What did you dig? In fact, what was your pick of the week? My pick of the week was Superman Space Age issue number 1, written by Mark Russell, with artwork by Mike Allred, coloring by Laura Allred, lettering by David Sharp. So I really liked this book. It is a $10 comic, but it's 80 pages of nothing but story, no advertisements, just straight up story and brilliant artwork from the Allreds, Mike and Laura Allred. Let's talk about that artwork. The artwork is freaking phenomenal. Now, Mike Allred and Laura Allred, they got this pop art, retro, Kirby, Ditko, Toth type style that it doesn't work for some people, which astounds me because I think that Mike Allred is one of the greatest cartoonists of the modern age. I love and adore his Madman work. I love his work with Pete Milligan on X-Force and Ecstatics, and now the Excellent. I need to get that new Silver Surfer. They're doing a reprint of his Omnibus Silver Surfer with Dan Slott, because that's one I've never... That's my gap in my Mike Allred stuff. That and Red Room 7. I've never read that, and you can't get that now either. But the artwork is absolutely fantastic for me. This book works. It soars. It is its own Elseworlds type retelling of the DC universe starting in the Silver Age. And I've heard it by some compared to Darwin Cook's Final Frontier. DC New Frontier, my bad. And I can understand that comparison. It feels like that in scope, but there is a big difference between DC in the 50s, which is what I think New Frontier was doing, and DC in the 60s. And that's what we're doing here. So, first of all, we're just retelling the origin of Superman, but set in the 60s. So he's coming of age in the 60s. He's becoming Superman throughout. We're introducing Clark, his family, Ma Kent, the origin with Krypton, all of that stuff, the world of Metropolis, Lex Luthor, Jimmy Olsen, Perry White, of course, Lois Lane. We're building all of that up, but in the 60s. And Mark Russell is doing a fantastic job of honoring to me the character and legacy of Superman and understanding the world of the 60s. He's reflecting on that. They're talking about the JFK assassination. They're talking about Vietnam. They're talking about the civil rights movement. Why? Because these are things that happened in America in the 60s. That's when you look at the 60s and you look at culture, that's one of the things. Now, it also ties into Crisis. So he gets this premonition, almost, if you will, actually a visit from Pariah. And I really appreciated that. And he finds out the world's going to end. The crisis is coming. The anti-monitor is gobbling it all up. And we're talking about the 60s. So that means like in 25 years or so, the world's going to end. Superman's going to have to come to grips with that, and this is knowledge he gets beforehand. But we're also getting the world built up outside of the Superman family. We're getting Batman. We're getting Green Lantern. We're getting Wonder Woman. We're getting this insane Lex Luthor plot. Probably the bit of the book that I don't like. Not that I don't like it, but the Lex Luthor plot is cool, and it's okay, and it fits, especially for the 60s, because we're talking about the Cold War era. So the plot fits, but I don't know. I wanted something a little bit more evil genius, but at the same time, it works. But it also adds some layers to Jonathan Kent, to Paul Kent, showing about his time in the war, some things that happened to him, how that ties in thematically. So we're dealing with a world that's in fear of a nuclear holocaust because we're in the Cold War. They're dealing with the assassination of a hopeful president, and we're dealing with the tension of the civil rights movement in Vietnam. And then we get Superman. And it works so fucking well. 80 pages the entire time. I am enthralled in this book. It is incredibly low-key, personal, but uplifting, and it's the best Superman book I've read in a long time. I definitely have to see how the series is going to end to say it's the best since like the last really great Superman story I read, which was probably All-Star Superman, to be honest with everybody. But this has potential to be there. I think it's the best superhero comic that I've read from Mark Russell so far. 80 pages, $10, but 80 pages. This is going to be 3 issues. It's going to be released bi-monthly, I believe, so it's $10 every other month. I fucking loved it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great. If you read Superman Space Age, what'd you think about it? And outside of that, what was your favorite comic of last week? What was your pick of the week? All right, let's take a look at the comments. Comic Book Therapy says, loved Iron Cat. Loving that too. Jed McKay's Black Cat series, even though it's been broken up a few times, like they really need to do a complete collection of that, make a simple reading order for that, because that shit is really good. Eric says, pick of the week has to be Rom on Detective, but the art in Ant-Man by Tom Riley was amazing. Art in Ant-Man was really cool. Ant-Man was actually a really cool book. I liked it. Rom V's first issue on Detective blew me away. It was probably my number 2 of the week. I loved it. I loved the setup. I loved his usage of Bruce Wayne. I loved how Bruce was like challenging himself, timing himself to get to certain areas and things like that. I thought that was dope. I thought that was fun. And I love the artwork. Raphael Albuquerque, Dave Stewart. It was absolutely brilliant. Loved it. JC says, Russell and Allred separately can do no wrong. Together is a dream team. Figure Drawing says, Mike Allred is definitely underappreciated. I too find it very odd. Figure Drawing says, you've never hit up Red Rocket 7. No, I always intended on getting it, and even the CD that came with it. And then I used to have it in my shop back in the day. I used to own it. I used to run this other shop. I used to own this other shop. And like in my early 20s, I ran a comic shop, and maybe that was a bad idea to do. I ran a comic shop in like 2000. It was 2000, and I started working at the shop in 2000, and then I took over. So 2000 to 2003, I ran a comic shop. That's like the worst fucking years in comic book retail. Like, so that was, but anyway, it was fun. And I always had it on the shelf, and I always wanted to get it. And I never got it. And now I can't find it, and I need to get a hold of one, because I've always wanted to get into that. Because he's in the band that does the CD, right? That does the soundtrack. Bobby says, bro, I just met Mark Russell today at the Fountain City Comic Con. Dude was nice as hell, man. You know I had him sign my copy. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Eric says, agreed figure drawing about Mike Allred. Feel like his hype dropped after Ecstatics, but his talent just grew. Yeah, well, he went back to Madman for a while, too. That's some good stuff. Do not buy the tiny trade paperback. You need the original oversized version. Thanks for letting me know that. It's like a landscape, right? C-May Thunder says, pick of the week was Something is Killing the Children or The Hollows. The Hollows, which I read back in the day when it first released, that's a collection of a 4-issue series that Sam Keith did with Chris Ryall, but definitely worth everybody checking out. I picked it up too. Mark says, first time I ever shook my head at a pick of the week. Beautiful book, but I hated the story, especially the characterization of Paul and Clark. Fair enough, Mark. Taki says, Superman Space Age is my pick of the week. Also want to mention Radiant Black, Something is Killing the Children, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Great, great week. Hell yeah. Bobby says, just like me, you know Superman was raised in Kansas. Go Chiefs. You know that. CMA Thunder says, did love that Superman as well. What is up, Ronald? Can't wait for the next issue of Dark Crisis. It's this week. We'll be talking about it tonight. Frankie says, Nightmare Country, pick of the week. Creepy and good. Hell yeah, I agree. That's a really good book. For like $40, you can get the OG oversized Red Rocket 7, 1-7, which completes that series. Hell yeah, all right. Well, if anybody wants to help in that, you can always throw out a super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate the recommend there, and I knowing which one I need to get it for sure. It does come with a CD, right? Like with an album, right? Josh says, I could never get into Allred. Something about the thick outlines makes everything feel static to me, no flow to the action. I can understand that. Being into him, it's quirky and it's weird, and at first it was off-putting for me when I was like a teenager, but like I got hardcore into it. But I get what you're saying. I can understand that. It would be interesting to see somebody else ink him. I'll tell you that. Our Ariaga with Rom V's Detective Comics. We also got Road Collecting in the house. Twitch says, the book didn't do enough on its own for me. Definitely want to wait for a few more issues before I read. Well, there's only 3 if we're talking about Superman Space Age. BaneNet says, my pick of the week is Superman Space Age because it was entertaining and kept me invested. By the way, this was my first Superman comic. Station. Also, Batman One Dark Knight was my second pick. Dairy Bandit says, Superman Space Age, definitely my pick of the week. C-May Thunder says, what does Rom V not do well? I don't know. Maybe he's like shitty at cooking. Maybe. I'll have to ask him. How do I feel about his Carnage so far? It's okay. I like it, but it's not like my favorite Rom V work, right? So I don't think it's on the level there. I think he's bringing a Carnage book near-ish to his level, but I like it. But what I'm hearing is Marvel editorial right now. It's tough to work with. But I think it's better than most Carnage books would ever be. Let's be honest. I love Carnage. I love Venom. Most Carnage and Venom books have sucked. Let's be honest. I love them. But most of them have not been very good. Okay. What is up, Cloud Kicker? You're never late. You're right on time. Regarding the CD, you have to buy it separately. I think it's pretty rare. Well, hopefully somebody's got it on YouTube or something. All right, time to look ahead at what's coming up in shops this week. We got Batman 126. And as we're going through this list, let me know what you're most excited to read. We got Batman 126, Moon Knight 14, Dark Crisis, which is now Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 3, but it still says Dark Crisis on the title. Immortal X-Men, number 5, DC vs. Vampires, number 8, X-Men Red, number 5, Flashpoint Beyond, number 4, Spawn 332, Ghost Rider, number 5, Batman Killing Time, number 6, that's the final issue, Poison Ivy, number 3, Harley Quinn, number 18, Iron Man 22, Legion of X, 4, Edge of Spider-Verse, number 1, Batman White Knight Presents Red Hood, number 1, Batman Beyond Neo Year, number 5, Once and Future 28. Excuse me. We now know that book is ending. what is it, issue 30 or something? New Fantastic Four, number 3, Spider-Punk 4, Twig 4, Little Monsters 6, Spider-Man 2099, Exodus number 5, X-Men 92, House of 92, number 3, The Closet number 3, the finale, Aquaman Andromeda 2 by Ramvi and Christian Ward, and I believe Aditya Bidikar, Walking Dead Deluxe 44, Stillwater 14, New Champion of Shazam 1, Sword of Azrael number 1, Mighty Morphin 22, Star Wars The Halcyon Legacy number 5, Demon Wars The Iron Samurai 1, Basilisk 10. That book's still fucking going? It's only on issue 10? Time Before Time 15, Scumbag 14, Sweet Paprika 11, Multiversity Teen Justice 3, Philadelphia 24, Sword of Azrael, Dark Knight of the Soul, one-shot comic, That Texas Blood 16, The Dead Lucky number 1 from Image Comics, Magic the Gathering 17, G.I. Joe, Real American Hero 296, Black Adam, The Justice Society Files, Cyclone number 1, Ant number 4, Golden Rage number 1, Fox and Hare 2, Grim Fairy Tales 62, Mech Strike, Monster Hunters 2, Sacrament number 1, a new one from AWA, Cyberpunk 2077, Blackout 3, Metal Society 4, Razorblade Small Cut Special from Image number 1, Frankenstein New World number 1 from the world of Mike Mignola, Survival Street 1, Doctor Who Origins number 3, Red Sitha number 4, Shadow Service 14, Godzilla Rivals vs. Batra number 1, Duel number 3, Vineyard number 1, Mad Magazine 27, Project Superpowers Fractured States number 5, Kingdom Come Deliverance number 1, Rick and Morty Crisis on C137, 20XX Transport number 1, and Swamp God number 6, and we're going to call it there. That's what's coming up this week. What are you most excited for? We'll talk about that when we get back, including the DC sneak peek after this short break on Rockin Robbie Live.
guys, come join Rex and Robbie on the experience this Monday, August 1st at 6 p.m. Eastern. There is an incredible lineup all ready for you. We got new CGCs, new CCAs, metal books, and more. There's most likely going to be a giveaway, which I will pick out personally. So, reminder, August 1st, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on the experience. Hope to see you then.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Bills. How is everybody doing? Here on a Sunday night, we've had a great show already. We talked about our favorite comic books of last week and a lot of other just fucking awesomeness in the previous hour. Excuse me. It's the beer. I hope everybody's having fun. Coming up in this segment, we're going to be looking ahead at what's coming up in shops this week involving DC Comics, because we already did that. And when we last left you, I asked you, what are you most looking forward to coming up in shops this week? Let us know. But upcoming, we got the DC sneak peek. We got the Nope movie review in a non-spoilery kind of way. Kinda. And Image in the 90s, we're going to be talking about Youngblood issue number 2. All in this next segment on Rockin Robbie Lives. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, merch, and a whole lot more. You can also follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army. Make it official, because it's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can also support the channel at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons and patriots right there. One and all, we really do appreciate it. I got to give a mad shout out to Kirk. You know what I'm saying. Thank you so much for your support. We really do appreciate it. We did lose a couple of patrons this month, but it doesn't matter, because all the support we need is y'all being here, y'all liking, sharing, and subscribing. And anytime somebody joins us over at Patreon, we really do appreciate it. And if you're on patreon.com/PCP at any level from $1 and on, you have access to the weekly comic book review, an audio file, downloadable it is, available hours before it drops here on YouTube. You can also support us with the Super Chat, and we really do appreciate everything. Coming up here on the channel tomorrow night, we're continuing Action Fest on PCP Movie Night, and it's True Lies, the winner of the 2022 PCP Army Movie Poll for Action Fest. And then Saturday night, Dylan's Horror Show, we got a full moon double feature, Puppet Master and Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl-orama. Definitely movies worth checking out. How is everybody doing? Thank you all for being here. Let's take a look at what people are saying. We asked you what you're looking forward to coming up in shops this week. So here we go. William says, is Flashpoint Beyond out this week? Yes, it is. Eric's excited for Stillwater, X-Men Red, and That Texas Blood. These books have yet to disappoint. PE Freak 520 says, Batman 126 and Dark Crisis are my top 2 that I'm looking forward to this week. JC says, I'm way behind on Swamp God, but Ron Mars got me hooked. Ronald wants to know who else seen the Beast get slain last night. I don't know what that's a reference to, but it's a question. I'll pass it along. Evil Face Bad says, I'm really looking forward to New Batman and Dark Crisis. Taki reminds us there's some great covers out this upcoming week, and they've already talked about them on Got You Covered. Fables Got You Covered. That's right. Thank you for the link. It's the Beast Amber Turd. That's hilarious. Let's see. Josh says, I'm actually excited for the X books after the surprisingly fantastic start to X from Gillen. Just hope the other writers can keep it up. Evil Face Bad says, I dropped Marvel. Sinner24 says, no more cats. It's a terrible thought. It's a terrible thought. Joram says, Razor Blades, I'll have to get that off the rack. Once in future, Little Monsters and the new champion of Shazam. Twitch is looking forward to Immortal X-Men and Once in Future. That's a Gillen fan right there. I feel weird if a person drops Punisher. Do you not care about art? Station. Frankie's excited for Little Monsters. Evil Face Bat says, oh, don't get me wrong. They have some beautiful artists, but when it comes to comic art, when it comes to comics, art isn't everything story too. That is true. Frankie likes She Bites from Skull Comics. I really liked that book. I thought it was really solid. Mark says, really hope Sword of Azrael is great. Looking forward to that one. SummerSlam. Oh, SummerSlam was last night. Okay. Nice. There you go. Bayman's looking forward to Dark Crisis, Moon Knight, and Azrael. Robbie, did you know that Batman's getting a new suit? Did you know Batman's getting a new suit in 126? He ran for one after Failsafe whipped his ass. It's not a new suit. That's spoiler territory for me, but it's not a new suit. But Batman 126 ends in a very exciting way for fans of the Grant Morrison run. Let's say that. But it's not a new suit. DMG's up in the house, says, not sure when the next issues come out, but reading Ghost Rider New Fantastic Four. New issue of New Fantastic Four this week. Hell yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get into it because we've already alluded to it a little bit, but now it's time for your DC sneak peek. First up, we're going to talk about Black Adam, The Justice Society Files, Cyclone issue number 1. So this is one of those one-shot comics that are basically giving us extra information about the characters in the Justice Society that are going to be in the upcoming Black Adam movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So, the first one was Hawkman, and it was, to be honest, it was not good. It was written by Kevin Scott. I think it was a different artist. I don't know. It's got a backup story in here about Brian Q. Miller. It's okay. But the Cyclone story's not bad. It's actually interesting. It's basically the origin of Cyclone. So if you want to know about these characters before they appear in this Black Adam movie, this is where you need to go. But they are not essential in the slightest. But this one I liked because it did give me a little bit more background information on Cyclone. Hawkman dealt a little bit with origin stuff, but it dealt with this other story that was kind of dull and boring. But in this one, it goes straight up kind of origin and introductory. And Cyclone is a character that I don't think a lot of people are familiar with. So if you're not, instead of hunting down those JSA issues by Jeff Johns, because this is a different iteration of that character, definitely check this out. It'd be fine. I mean, it was an all right comic, but it wasn't like groundbreaking or nothing like that. Then we got the new champion of Shazam, issue number 1. This one is written by somebody Campbell. Julie Campbell? Josie Campbell with artwork by Doc Shaner. So the artwork was awesome. Doc Shaner is a fantastic artist. Got a very clean, old school type style. This book actually was decent. It was okay. It's so Billy Batson is locked away in the Tower of Eternity, or the Rock of Eternity, and that happened in Teen Titans Academy. I stopped reading that. But the power now is going to go to Mary Marvel, but she's kind of reluctant to take that power because she's trying to start a whole new life and discover herself as a freshman in college. So as she's starting that journey, she gets called to be the new champion of Shazam. But I liked the book. It dealt with a lot of like coming of age, freshman year of college type stuff. So it's youth oriented, but it did have some really nice fun bits, including a bit with a rabbit named Hoppy. So lots of throwbacks and lots of cool stuff. So I actually liked this. I thought it was good. This is going to be a 4-issue series, basically spotlighting Mary Marvel. And I thought that was pretty cool. Then we got Poison Ivy, issue number 3. This issue's all right. First issue of Poison Ivy didn't completely win me over. Thought issue 2 was better. This one kind of brought it back down a little bit. At the same time, it kind of does a really good job of telling a nice self-contained story interlocked with what's going on here. Now, this book is not listed as a limited series, so we'll see what happens. But basically, Poison Ivy is dying, so she's run away from Harley Quinn, and she is killing as many people as she can on the way there. I think this book has kind of treaded that line of wanting her to be a likable anti-hero, and in that Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy stan type way, but like it also wants to like make her be a ruthless killer. This issue kind of brings some nuance to that, some balance to those two opposing sides. So I did like that, but it did also kind of feel disconnected. But at the same time, this is cool. If this is an ongoing series, this is a fine 3rd issue, but we know this isn't an ongoing series. Artwork's decent, story's decent too. I'm enjoying it still. Then we got Batman, White Knight Presents Red Hood, issue number 1. This was all right. It was good. It was solid. I kind of like this version of Jason Todd in the White Knight universe by Sean Murphy. Jason Todd was the first Robin. So that was a big curveball that we got thrown in the Batman Beyond the White Knight. And here we're exploring out the origin of the White Knight universe version of Jason Todd. And it's different, but at the same time, he's kind of the same. It gets a little tropey and two-dimensional with Jason Todd for me here. They are trying to balance that with a little bit of depth and nuance to that character, but it doesn't quite work. Simone DeMayo's artwork is fine for the most part. I really like it. I think Dave Stewart's doing a great job of coloring their work, but I don't know. It was all right. It was good, but it wasn't as good as, say, the Harley Quinn one that they did with Katana Collins, I believe, but it's good. Clay McCormack is co-writing this one, so it was fine. It was cool. It was cool. Then we got Sword of Azrael, Dark Knight of the Soul, and Sword of Azrael, number 1. What? This is confusing. Why did they do this? Well, they did it for a good reason, but the problem is they probably should have dropped this last week, but they're doing it at the same time. That's going to confuse people, I think. Like, honestly. But let me tell you what the deal is. So, the new Dan Watters series, Sword of Azrael, Dark Knight of the Soul. This is, my bad. So, the new 6-issue series, Sword of Azrael, starts this week. What Sword of Azrael, Dark Knight of the Soul is it's a one-shot. The exact same creative team. Dan Watters, and the artist is, I think it's Nicole. Says Magia. Oh my goodness. I messed that up. I'm not sure of the last name actually. Nicola. Yeah, anyway. So they did like I think 3 or 4 little small chapters in Batman Urban Legends that build up some stuff that happens in this new book. Okay. So also Azrael was featured in Dan Watters' book Arkham City Order of the New World. So it goes in order, this to Arkham City to this. But this sets up stuff that's happening here. So I would highly encourage everybody to check this out. So this is $3.99. It's a one-shot, but it collects all the Urban Legends prequel type stuff, right? So get this, pick it up if you haven't read it already, and then grab this one. So if you're interested, I loved this book. Now, when I first read Sword of Azrael #1, which is about a month ago, I read it like around FOC, I wasn't digging on the artwork. But when I read this, because I dropped out of Batman Urban Legends, so I read like the first chapter of this, I think, but not the finale of it. And it sets up some really cool stuff, and it does some interesting world building with the Order of St. Damas, how that connects to the Knights Templar, and how that connects to Jean-Paul Valley. I love this character. Nightfall, wait, what was that, like 93, 94? I'm like 12, 13 years old. Like, come on, target audience, right? So I really like this exploration. And also, having been part of the Christian church throughout the majority of my youth, seeing the reflection on a dude who is an incredibly devout Christian who's trying to see signs and purpose. He's trying to find purpose. And he's trying to find it through the lens of his faith, and how that can get misconstrued and manipulated by other forces. That was really interesting. So I really liked the setup here, and also the artwork on the reread really grew on me because of reading this, right? So the artwork in here was super solid and cool, and now Jean-Paul Valley's, he's basically in Europe trying to be a monk, because Jean-Paul Valley's got this program imprinted into his brain that's this avenging angel. But what if there were others? Yeah, I'm just going to tell you, this book was good. I've been rambling. Then we get Batman 126. Really liked this issue. I thought the first issue of Chip Zdarsky's Batman run, which was 125, was pretty solid. I really loved the Jorge Jimenez artwork. Jorge Jimenez does fantastic artwork here yet again. Absolutely blowing my mind. This issue ramps up that action. We get Failsafe. We get it. What is Failsafe's origin? We don't get the full glimpse of it, but it is connected to Batman. And at the end, we were talking about Batman in a new suit. Do not be fooled. It is not a new suit, but it is a return to a concept that I absolutely loved. I thought it was great. And the backup story with Catwoman was pretty cool too. Chip Zdarsky's off to a good start on Batman, especially with Jorge Jimenez. Then we got Flashpoint Beyond, issue #4. Loved this issue. Really getting into the nitty-gritty of what Flashpoint is, how it's existing in hypertime, how that's separate from Dark Crisis and the Omniverse, what the Omniverse represents, what hypertime represents, what happens when they come together. So instead of, as well, I should say, of building up more of a connection to the overall scope of what's going on in the DC Universe right now, or the DC Omniverse, or the DC Omniverse and beyond, we should say, it just does a great job of digging back into that character. We're starting to understand more about why this is happening. We're promised answers, full answers in the next issue, which is the penultimate issue, so surely. But this is, Jeff Johns is joined by Tim Sheridan and Jeremy Adams here, but it does still feel very complex in structure, kind of like Doomsday Clock. So you got a lot of things going on in the background. Like, don't not read a single line of dialogue here, because so much of stuff that may seem meaningless at first is very, very important. I'm loving the fucking book. I think it's great. Then we got Dark Crisis issue #3. Loved this issue. Dark Crisis has been taking a different path. It still feels like we're in prelude form right here, okay? Now, Crisis on Infinite Earths had 12 issues to do what they were doing. Infinite Crisis had a lot of build-up. Final Crisis had some build-up, but didn't really quite build up well enough. But then Final Crisis was something I did enjoy. And then all of the Snyder stuff with the Dark Crisis, or my bad, the original, what was supposed to be Dark Crisis, but all the metal stuff, I loved all of that. Metal through the Justice League into heavy metal. Loved it. Dark Crisis is doing something different, where it's like starting really kind of small scale. There's been build up to this, but it happened quickly and briefly, right? But I still feel like we're in this like preamble to everything really kicking off. But I'm digging it, right? So after this big fight between Deathstroke and Nightwing at Titan's Tower, as Titan's Tower is burning, like the Titans are getting wiped out, and Deathstroke is like ruling the secret society. How's that tied to Pariah? I love the building of momentum. I love that there's a lot of big stuff happening, but it does feel like it's still build up to the big event. And I kind of like that. We still got 4 issues to go. We'll see what happens. But right now, I'm enjoying Crisis. So far, though, I'm a mark in my life for every Crisis event. Then we got the best DC book I read this week. Aquaman Andromeda, issue #2. I basically described issue number 1 as Sphere by Michael Crichton, but with Aquaman, right? An alien spacecraft lands at the bottom of the ocean. The government sends a team of scientists and soldiers to explore the mystery of this. And then you throw in Aquaman. You throw in Black Manta. There's something in this alien craft that's able to take thoughts from people and make them reality, including a giant kraken. Another big nod, I think, to Sphere. I don't know. I need to message Ron V and be like, bro, do you like Michael Crichton? Because Michael Crichton's one of my favorite authors, but like he's very basic. But like I just wonder if there's a Sphere nod here. I don't know. Because there's straight up some scene for scene shit in that first issue comparing it to Michael Crichton's Sphere. That being said, it veers away from the connection to Sphere in the second issue. It still has that great flavor of there's this alien ship and they're exploring it. So this is the issue where we're seeing the exploration, but of course it doesn't go right. It goes wrong. But Aquaman's there, and Aquaman is still portrayed as this mythical figure, and I love that approach to this. It's more from the point of view of the scientists there exploring this phenomena, and Aquaman is this mythical figure interjecting into the story that I love. And then we got the threat of Black Manta, which is like the polar opposite, because he's doing the same thing. He is also a force of nature in the book, but different than Aquaman. So I really like this book. The artwork by Christian Ward is straight up cool. The coloring is phenomenal. Really like this book. So to recap, DC Sneak Peek, that's the DC book of the week right there, Aquaman Andromeda. Dark Crisis, loving it. Slow, steady, solid build-up. We got Flashpoint Beyond really starting to kick things up right there. Batman 126, exciting times for Batman right now, honestly. Sword of Azrael, get the one shot, read that, then read this. And if you want to, read Arkham City in between. It's going to serve you good because what Dan Waters is doing character-wise with Azrael, with Jean-Paul Valley is absolutely fantastic. Batman White Knight Presents Red Hood was decent. Then we got an ad. Poison Ivy number 3 was pretty solid. It was interesting. It's definitely going to see how we have to judge that in the whole once it's all said and done. New Champion of Shazam didn't break new territory, but it was a good, solid, fun comic book. And Black Adam Cyclone was a pretty fun comic book as well. And that has been your DC Sneak Peek. All right. Let's take a look at the chat. See what's going on. First of all, we got a super chat from Larry Moore. Station Larry Moore, thank you so much for the super chat and the support of the channel. It goes a long way. We really do appreciate it. You know, that said, all super chats go to funding the Rockin Robbie 2022 tour. Of course, coming to a town near you. Memphis is the next stop in September, but from this point forward, from Larry's on, it's going to Red Rocket 7. So that means we are Red Rocket's 40. YouTube takes like 30%, but I don't sweat it. We're going to still call it what it is. Y'all, if we could, y'all want to try to fund Red Rocket 7, we got $30 more to go. That's up to y'all. All the support we need is just being here, participating in the chat. Speaking of participating in the chat, once again, thank you so much, Larry. Let's take a look at what people were saying while I was doing the DC Sneak Peek. We got Bearded Comic Bro in the house. Station! What is up? Hell yes. Good to see you, bruh. Looks like you had a good time this weekend, bruh. Was it Terrificon you were at? Dwayne's a Pain's looking forward to Closet and Twig. Me too. Hawkman was not up to par. No, it wasn't. Isn't Cyclone related to the Red Tornado? Not the Red Tornado. Well, what's the character's name? I can't remember the DC character now. Was it Cyclone? It's a legacy character, but it's from like a Golden Age DC shit or something. Sinner says, Poison Ivy and Batman 125 and 26 are the only DC books I'm reading other than it's mostly Marvel. And Little Monster and She Bites also. So you like vampire fiction. Nice. Another good vampire book is Cult of Icarus and Stake from Scout Comics. They're doing a lot of vampire fiction right now. Joram says, ugh. I love the Captain Marvel properties, the Shazam fam, and all, of course, Black Adam. These titles, ugh. More on my pull list. Station to you, Larry. DMG says, enjoying the story in Batman Fortress, but not so much the art. Fair enough. I'm actually the opposite on that. Enjoying the art, though the art is having to do a lot of talking heads, and Derek Robertson is capable of so much more than that. If you look at his work on Trends, Metropolitan, or The Boys. But the story's decent, but I don't know. It's really, the execution and the dialogue is really bogging me down. Yeah, that Sword of Azrael is confusing as fuck. Same team, 2 books. Yeah, but hopefully I cleared it up for you. The one is a one-shot collecting the Urban Legends prequel stuff that leads into what is developed in this series. I would recommend both of them. Doc Shaner is one of the best. You know it. Azrael's my game time decision book this week. Is it a pick of the week contender? It's definitely a contender for the top 5 or top 10 of the week. Pick of the week contender right now, I haven't read the Image stuff or the Marvel stuff yet. All I've read is DC. So right now, it would be Aquaman Andromeda. But right underneath that might be Sword of Azrael. I really like the stuff that's being explored there. And the art's warming up on me. It's not perfect, but it's warming up on me. I actually like it better in the one shot. It's the same artist, but I need more texture to this. And maybe it's the coloring. Because sometimes it's not the line work that's fucking us up, it's the coloring. And I think there's some books with some weak coloring this week from DC that I read. Trenton wants to know if anybody's watching Paper Girls. Not me, not yet, but one person watched the first episode and thought it was pretty cool so far. Always loved the tone of Azrael books. Hell yeah, Dwayne's a pain. I want another 100 issues of run of Azrael. Spilio, we're not going to get that anytime soon. Let's just enjoy the 6-issue series written by somebody like Dan Waters. Not just a friend of the show, an absolutely fucking phenomenal writer. Part of the White Noise crew with Ron V, Alex Packendale, and Ryan O'Sullivan. I love when they bring characters' beliefs of religions into stories. It can give you a totally different aspect of that character and what motivates them. Absolutely evil face bad. The problem is, a lot of people just want their religion being the one represented. I like it when we're representing all these things. And I like it when it's a focus. I like it when it's well-researched, when it's respected, and when it's a nuanced interpretation. That's what's going on here. This book ain't trying to be like... Because Jean-Paul Valley is a Catholic, I'm presuming, right? The Order of St. Dumas, probably Catholic, right? I'm assuming saints and all that shit. I didn't grow up Catholic. I was Protestant, Baptist to be particular. But I like how it's not casting judgment on it or anything like that. It's dealing with what it's like to be a person of faith and have expectations and have this desire to find your purpose. And I really like what it's exploring there. I think I don't know Dan's. Maybe I got to re-watch our conversation. I don't know necessarily a lot of his early background. I know he's in the punk scene, and I'm not trying to like do stereotypical shit here, but a lot of the people I knew that were in the punk scene when I was into it, a lot of the people that were there and like bred into it were like from Catholic school and shit. So I don't know. Maybe Church of England. I maybe that's a personal question, but maybe I should ask him one day. We should have Dan back on the show soon. But I agree with you, Evil Face Bad, especially when it's done well with nuance. Joram says, Sinner says, so it's an old new suit. Yeah. And it's even older than the Grant Morrison. That's giving it away too much. Y'all are really going to like Batman. It's on sale Tuesday. I like Batman. Joram says, Dark Horse and Boom Studios are my top. DC has a better universe of the big two. I want another 100 bullets. Trade Paper Dad's in the house station. Afro X is like, ooh, Flashpoint Beyond. Yes, really good stuff. Even if you've only read Flashpoint, it's a good, fun, solid read. And I think people will really get excited by the end of this newest issue. What's up, Empire? How you doing? We got Empire Comics in the house. We got royalty up in the place tonight, y'all. All y'all are royal. We're royals. I don't know that song enough to sing it, so. Hey, John Hammertime Holshoe's in the house. Station. Did you ever solve your True Lies conundrum, John? I need to know. We already had Brooks drop out, but it was okay because I overbooked it by 1, so it actually kind of worked out. Station Hammer Time. Reading that last Ronin again, love that story. Hell yeah. Get those hardcovers while you can. I tried to order more for the shop this week. Could not get them right now. Please elaborate on the outfit on the Tuesday night show. I can't because that would be a spoiler. I can't. If I told you what it was, it would be a spoiler. I want y'all to be surprised. We'll talk about it, though. Next week, Rockin Robbie Live. Stop rubbing it in, Robbie. You get to read the Crisis before us. I got to read it like a month ago, actually. Beast Boy did get shot in the face. He did. Albert says, didn't realize Andromeda #2 was out this week. Bonus. Hell yeah. Does Batman Killing Time 6 come out this week? Yes, Glenn. I stopped reading it, but it does come out this week. Afro tells us that One Piece 1056 comes out this Thursday. Ma Hunkle, thank you. Thank you so much. The original Cyclone. I actually have a One Piece omnibus book 1 in the living room. It's been there for a while. I bought it at a Barnes & Noble last year before we went and saw Dune, I think. And we stopped at the bookstore. We were hanging out. And I bought Dune, the book. And I bought One Piece. And it's like the omnibus collected trade paperback of volumes 1, 2, and 3. I do plan on getting into it. Yeah, with the pot on her head. Absolutely. I kept thinking Ma Kettle when I was trying to think of her name, so thank you for that. Ma Kettle's something way different. Derek's Space Beaver series is awesome. They need to make it a hardcover. Glenn says, West of Sundown is a pretty good vault book about vampires. Big Llama Show's in the house. What is up? Yeah, talk to Drew. He's got it. Show's tomorrow, John. You don't have much time. You should send him a message right now. Slaptan Americans in the house. Really into Poison Ivy from DC right now. Hell yeah. Glad I made your night, Perry. Glad I got to make your night for once, and it's not just you making my night. You know what I'm saying? Sounded weird and a little erotic, didn't it? It's not a new suit. Atomic Buzzard, I'm not going to tell y'all what suit it is. I'm not going to tell y'all. That would be spoilers. I don't want to piss anybody off by spoiling shit. Speaking of which, let's talk about Nope. Nope is the newest Jordan Peele movie. I watched it. Let's talk about it. And we're going to try to do this as spoiler-free as possible, but Nope is the third film written and directed by Jordan Peele. He did Get Out and Us. Now, Get Out and Us, to me, are 5 you dig movies. So that explains why, to me, this movie is just a little bit of a disappointment. Now, I really like Jordan Peele. I think Us is brilliant. I think Get Out is brilliant. This movie is at the doorstep of brilliant, but then it takes a couple steps back. I don't know. At the core, it's about these two siblings. Their father has just recently passed away in bizarre circumstances. They now run this horse ranch, and they are they're like Hollywood horse trainers, okay? And the sister is kind of like in and out of the business. You kind of get that vibe. And the main dude, which is named OJ and played by Daniel Kaluuya, I believe. He's the more stoic runner of the ship after their father passes away. But their relationship is actually pretty interesting, and that's one of the things that I did like about this film as far as the characters go. I don't think there's a lot of relatable characters. Like, they don't really get the chance to dive deep into it. They try, but it's not quite there. Now, the performances are great. I think that Daniel Kaluuya, I think is his name, he's from Get Out. He does an amazing performance there. He does a decent performance here, but it's very subdued. He's playing such a stoic, cowboy-esque character, trying to fit in his dad's shoes, that at times he comes across as rather dull and boring. There are moments that should be exciting and thrilling, and we should be experiencing these things through his eyes, but we're not. Because what this movie is about is basically a UFO shows up at their horse ranch, and they're trying to get a photo of it to, like, turn the tides of their struggling business. Now, his sister is played by Keke Palmer. She is one of the best performances of the movie. She is great. She's humorous. She is engaging, and she is compelling. They add in a couple other characters as well. They got this dude that works at like a Circuit City type thing. He's the one rigging them up. He kind of, I mean, it's jokey and it's cool. It's kind of got this weird mishmash of trying to be creepy and atmospheric, but at the same time trying to be comedic. And Jordan Peele in his other two movies has really kind of worked that balance out, but in this one, it's a little bit unbalanced. Now, we got Steven Yeun here playing a character who is a child actor and star on a sitcom, and his sitcom was him and his relationship with this chimpanzee, and the chimpanzee went crazy and killed everybody on set, or attacked everybody on set one day, and it canceled the show, and he's kind of been making money off of it since, and now he runs this like weird Texas amusement park thing called Jupiter's Claim, or it's not in Texas, it's out in the West, but like this weird desert Jupiter's Claim thing. So this whole bit with the monkey and everything, like, I see how it ties into the theme of the movie. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but like, it kind of feels out of nowhere and disconnected. Speaking of disconnections, you got Michael Wincott in this film as a cinematographer trying to capture the impossible shot. He's the one they bring in to capture the shot of the UFO. Makes a lot of sense aside from it gets shoved into the third act. It feels very unbalanced. Now, we've seen plenty of footage of the UFO in the trailers, that final trailer in particular. And it's there, but there is something more to this. So all in all, though, I don't know. It's kind of a mixed match. Now, it's got brilliant cinematography. It really does. It's shot incredibly well, even the night scenes. And last night on Dylan's Horror Show, I was like, everybody's been praising them, but they were so dark, I couldn't really tell. But the thing is, they were so dark, but I could tell. I could clearly see what was happening. But it seemed really dark in my theater. I think that's in my theater, because when I see clips of it online, it looks a little bit brighter. But the cinematography is top-notch. The way it's shot is great. The cinematographer is Hoyt van Hoytema. He's been doing a lot of the cinematography on Christopher Nolan's latest films, including Tenet, for instance. So I really like the way it was shot. I feel like the movie's got... The movie's trying to make a statement. It's trying to make a statement about Hollywood, performance, animal rights, and at the same time is trying to do something in the vein of a Spielberg kind of thing. I'm getting a lot of like Spielberg vibes. It's like Jaws meets Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's kind of what this movie is. I think over time, I may even learn to appreciate this movie more. The music is solid. The cinematography is great. The performances it's kind of up and down. Some performances and characters are really compelling, including Steven Yeun and Keke. They're great. The main character, Kaluuya, though, like OJ, is interesting, but kind of boring at the same time. He's almost too stoic for his own right, so it's uneven. I feel like there's a theme there trying to be made, but the connections aren't quite there. Now, in Get Out, the thematic relevance, the subtext was very obvious. In Us, the subtext was less obvious, but it was easier to make those connections. In Nope, it's a little bit too divorced from the actual movie because the movie kind of suffers, I think, from a tonal clash, and it suffers from some pacing issues in the first half. It's got a very exciting third act, but it's kind of got a stagnant, drudging along first act and the beginning of the second act as well. So I'm kind of disappointed. I'm looking at it, though. Music's great. Cinematography's great. Special effects are great. Performances are decent, but the characters aren't quite all there. Story's really good, but it doesn't quite connect to the thematic material. So overall, for Nope, I'm going to go 3.5. Ya digs. That's what I think. If you watch Nope in a no-spoiler way, let us know what you think. What do you give it out of 5 ya digs? I give it 3.5. Which is solid. I think it's a movie everybody should watch. I think it's a movie I want to watch multiple times. But for a cat that's made 2 movies to me that are 5 ya digs, 3.5, a little bit of a disappointment. What'd y'all think? Mark, shut your mouth. I said no spoilers. It just got a little gay. It's okay, Sinner. It's okay for things to get a little gay. In fact, it's awesome when they get a lot gay sometimes. Where's the Marvel in the 90s Silver Surfer review? Well, maybe one day, William. Maybe one day. I have not read Dune yet. Chimpanzee scene is chilling. That is, to me, the best scene in the movie. The one, like, right there in the middle. Like, and I think, who was it? I think it was a Maniacal Cinephile, which is, what's his channel called? I can't remember. I love his movie reviews. He does this thing where he's like Andy, the Maniacal Cinephile, and he's like talking to his good side and his bad side. He does some really cool stuff. What's the name of that fucking channel? Just type in Maniacal Cinephile. You'll find it. I loved his review. I think he said something like Steven Yeun's character was the most engaging. He probably should have been the main character. I don't know, but I don't know. Ronald says, 4 ya digs for Nope. Trade Paper Dad says, I felt like it was Jaws, but more about animal or people exploitation. Yeah, it's about that, but it's about the exploitation of animals and people in media, and media's kind of in there. And you can think about how you consume media and toss it and throw it away. I don't know. It's like there's a theme there, but it's not quite connected for me because there's some jarring shit in this movie and some really good creepy parts. Like there's the part where OJ is looking one day, like at dark, he's looking for a horse that's run off. There's some really creepy shit there, but it doesn't really, do anything. Trade Paper Dad says, 4 ya digs. It's not as good as Get Out, but better than Us. Don't even get me started. And we got a super chat for Larry from Larry again. Thank you so much. $20. Head start to the goal. That is a head start to the goal. $10 more, and now I can get the Red Rocket 7 for $40. So thank you so much, Larry. We really do appreciate it. All the support. Thank you all so much. Really goes far. Let me tell you about this little man I demon and a nun who had sex with the demon, but was raised by the Velsa broom. Now he fights evil and monsters. Shit. Now he fights with the man who's the fish named Dave. Now he fights with the fire starter named Liz and an ectoplasmic mess named Johann. PPRD. Blah! Thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you again, Larry, for the super chat. Both of them, every bit goes a long way. We really do appreciate the support, and $10 more till we hit tonight's goal. I know we can get it. I know we can get it. Taki says, speaking of getting it, Taki says, this is my favorite song about nuns having sex. Nuns having sex with demons, my friend. That is the relevance and thematic material of Hellboy. All right, we're going to be talking about Youngblood number 2. But we're going to take a quick break before that. When we come back, Youngblood number 2, top 5 movies of 2011, and a little bit of show and tell, all that and more here on Rockin' Robbie Live.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do, that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these dreams I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hey guys, come join Rex and Robbie on the experience this Monday, August 1st at 6 p.m. Eastern. There is an incredible lineup all ready for you. We got new CGCs, new CCAs, metal books, and more. There's most likely going to be a giveaway, which I will pick out personally. So, reminder, August 1st, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on The Experience. Hope to see you then.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Bills. Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Bills. Thank you all for being here. Join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, you might as well follow us there. We're also on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can check out podcasts and more at PopCulturePhilosophers.com. And you can support the channel at Patreon.com/PCP. Like these fine PCP patrons right there, one and all. I gotta say, thank you so much, including Taki. Thank you for being a patron. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if I threw a party, invited everyone I knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you for being a golden girl, Taki. I appreciate it. I'll be the Bay author to your. I'll be the B Arthur to your Betty. What the fuck is her name? Betty White any day. Jeez, I almost said Betty Davis. Sorry, y'all. How's everybody doing? You can support the channel with Super Chat. We got $10 more till we hit our goal for tonight, that we can have a big, massive celebration, a big sing-along. That would be fun. But all the support we need is a like, a share, a follow, a subscribe, all that shit and more. It really helps out the channel. Thank you all so much. What's coming up here on the channel? Join us tomorrow night for PCP Movie Night. We're talking about True Lies, the winner of the PCP Army Movie Poll Action Fest 2022 movie poll. Said that wrong. True Lies, we're talking about it tomorrow. Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday is a full moon double feature. Puppet Master and Sorority Babes from the Slime Bowl-orama, both available on Tubi. Fantastic. Plus, we got PCP mystery boxes now available. If you purchased one last week, it is on the way, but we got a fresh batch of 10 available right now, $30. That includes shipping. If you're interested, email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com. I'll send you an invoice. You pay it. We ship out your mystery box. Going to be filled with comics and a little bit of fun surprises, including a signed sketch from yours truly, Rockin Robbie Bills. How are you doing, everybody? Let's take a look and see what everybody's saying up in the chats. You would see the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. Billy Power Max says, Jonathan Kent gay, or Tim Drake gay, or maybe Iceman gay? Iceman's gay. Jonathan Kent and Tim Drake are bisexual, I believe. And like Sarah Michelle Gellar says in Southland Tales, we're living in a bisexual nation in denial, all because of a bunch of nerds. Boom, boom, dum, boom. The Golden Girls song never sounded so good. Well, thank you so much. Dynamite needs to do a Golden Girls book. I'll let Nick know. Hey, bro, I know you're like got Darkwing Duck and Gargoyles on the horizon. Have y'all heard about that? How crazy is that? Dynamite's doing Darkwing Duck and Gargoyles. Not only are they doing Gargoyles, they're bringing back the original fucking creator to do Gargoyles to continue it. How fucking awesome is that? Word, JC. Me, Rockin Robbie, Vampirella, and Deja. Taki, that stuff. You let me know where and fucking when, bruh. I'm gonna be there. I'll be there with bells on, man. Like, literally, I'll have bells on and shit for some reason. I don't know why. If B. Arthur's estate wants a cut of the super chats, we will gladly provide them with some. But I don't think B. Arthur wrote that fucking song. He was just off-key enough, they won't demonetize. Now, thank you, Joram. I really appreciate the support there. Spilio with the super chat, $10. Go for it. Wouldn't be able to sleep if you didn't get a Rocket 7. We got it, y'all. Fuck it. Y'all all know the words. Let's do it. Thank you so much, my man. I want to hear everybody on this motherfucker. Let's sing along. Come on, everybody. Everybody, come on. Come here. Come on. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had sex with the demon, but was raised by the Vessel Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters. Shit. Now he fights with the man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with a fire starter named Liz. And an ectoplasmic master named Johann. BPLD. Yeah! Dun, 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 dun. That's right. Yo, 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 yo. Ha! Yo, take that frown upside down. Don't make me a clown. Let me tell you how I'm going downtown. You hear that sound in the street? Don't you even feel defeat? No, it never come through my eyes. Well, let me tell you what I feel about the PCP Army. Everybody stepping along every day to the march of positivity and celebration. Don't you ever know we gotta live this life with celebratory significance? What's that fucking, what's that? Is that a trumpet? Trombone? Some shit? right. Thank you, everybody, for the support. We really do appreciate it. But even if you didn't throw out a super chat, we still love you. We love you even as much as everybody, because all the support we need is y'all being here, being part of the PCP army, adding positivity, insightfulness, and entertainment to this comic book community, which is sometimes lacking. Let's be honest. We could all use a little bit more of pep in our step. You know what I'm saying? How's everybody doing? All right. Show's not over. We got Image in the 90s, top 5 movies of 2011, and Show and Tell. Best super chat song ever. Thank you. It's becoming a classic. Bobby's out there singing along. One collection down says, this fable, it says, damn, Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck. Guess I'll be picking up a few more Dynamite books. Well, they also got the Garbage Pail Kids shit now, and that's really fun. The Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kids was really fun. They got the Elvira books that are fucking dope. Sexy ass Vampirella. Me and Taki, with Deja Thors, we got a weekend planned. They gonna be where they gonna be? They gonna be a C2E2. Anyway, I'm wondering if they're gonna do. I asked them. I was like, y'all gonna do cosplay covers for Darkwing Duck? Just gonna put a hat and a little mask on a duck. I have this going on my phone and on my TV, and it is perfectly synced to where when you finish a singing phrase, it starts on the other. So it's like a row, row, row your boat gently down, row, row, row your boat. That kind of thing. That's nice. Perry wants to know what kind of shirt this is. It's a shirt for Suspiria. It's probably my favorite horror movie of all time. One of my favorite movies of all time. Suspiria. It's a Dario Argento flick. Vampirella will change your life. How am I going downtown? A bus now? Uber. It's taking Uber. Red222 says, I got some comics to read this week. Most of my free time is spent playing Shredder's Revenge. This month, more TMNT games are coming out. Crazy time to be a TMNT fan. Hell yeah. Running around yelling out, station, pop, pop, boom. No, Rosario Dawson's at C2E2. I will not be there, but yeah. So somebody asked, East Coast only? Yes. For the time being. I want to get a West Coast show in there one day. Probably the West Coast show I do will probably be Emerald City or Rose City in the next year or two. We'll see. Am I smoking wax? Nah, man. This is just nicotine. No, I got this one at Scarefest last year. I do buy some stuff from Fright Rags occasionally. Anyway. You know, row, row, row your boat always makes me think of Star Trek: The Final Frontier. Yeah, I've seen the new Star Trek Playmates figures. They're cool. I'm stepping away from them. I got enough Star Trek shit in my life. But yeah. If I have only seen Flashpoint Paradox and not actually read it, would I be able to read Flashpoint Beyond? Yes. But I would recommend reading Flashpoint. I would like to do Emerald City like maybe next year or the year after. It depends. It depends on what happens. You know, I got a day job. I live my life. There's only so much fundage, but we appreciate it. But I definitely want to. I do want to do some West Coast shows, some Midwest shows too. Right, I mean, basically right now it's wherever I can convince someone to go and drive with me too. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah. Hey, Robbie, I heard you're getting into Mobius. Is his art not amazing? I feel like once you get into his shit, there's no coming back. You're mesmerized by it. I agree, Albert, and I got my latest acquisition in the Mobius library. Will be part of Show and Tell. All right, let's get into it. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Last week we talked about Youngblood #1. Now it's time to talk about Image in the 90s. And tonight we're talking about Youngblood issue #2 by Rob Liefeld. And let me tell you this, last week we talked about issue #1, and as much as I wanted to enjoy it, I found it severely lacking. Issue #2, really solid. First of all, it's also the first appearance of Prophet. It's also the first appearance of Shadowhawk, but we'll get to that later. Just like the original issue, it is a flip book, but the main story is the one story. And it involves the B team. But before we even get back to the B team, and no, we don't pick up from the cliffhanger of the A team in the last issue. I don't know if we ever go back to that or whatever, but we start with this new team we're being introduced to. It's the Berserkers. Or as I like to say, it's Kane, Weapon X, it's Domino, it's Beast. You know, it's X-Force, X-Men characters, but Rob Liefeld kind of reimagining them. But I'm going to tell you this, I liked this issue a lot. A lot more than the previous, let's just say that. When I say a lot, that's what I mean, a lot more than the previous. But I liked this issue pretty solidly. So we get introduced to this new team, the Berserkers. They're on this crazy mission, whole bunch of new characters. We get some really nice, solid work from Rob Liefeld. In the last issue, we were talking about a lot of it looked to me like he was just drawing based on muscle memory, and he wasn't like rounding, like doing the underdrawing and figuring things out. You get a lot more of that in this. This feels more like X-Force #1 level than Youngblood #1 did, right? So these dudes, they're out there, they're trying to find their leader, a dude named Kirby. Y'all know, as Taki pointed out earlier, I am 100% overly sensitive about Jack Kirby, and I love Rob Liefeld's respect for Jack Kirby. This book was dedicated to him, and Jack Kirby is basically the inspiration for this Kirby character, and it's Jack Kirby like amped the fuck up, and I absolutely loved it. They grab his ass, they're like, yo, it's basically like Rob Liefeld is like, oh, some of the X-Men and X-Force characters are coming to free Jack Kirby from the chains, Marvel Comics, and Stan Lee, but I love it. They're going after this dude. I can't even remember his name now. It's Dark something. What's his damn name? I'm looking at it right here. It is Dark Thorn. Dark Thorn is the big villain here. And then we cut and we get introduced to Prophet. So the first appearance of Prophet is a big close-up in on his face. This is actually a really solid image, I believe, from Rob Liefeld. And the Youngblood B team, the away team, if you will, the stealth team that we were introduced to, the majority of issue #1. We never go back in issue #2 to the A team. I do believe that in issues 3, they start tying it together, and I appreciate that. But basically, we get introduced to Prophet. Prophet is a super soldier that was developed in World War II and has been in a cryogenic state of suspended animation ever since. And Youngblood, the B team, the away team, so it's Sentinel, and it's Riptide, and Cougar, and Sci-Fire, and Combat, and what's that dude's name? Brahma. They have to just basically do security detail in the transportation of this experiment. They're going to try to figure out how to make super soldiers from Prophet's blood, right? Rob Liefeld, by the way, in the first issue, we had Hank Canal, I think, being credited for doing dialogue. No credited dialogue writer, so I'm assuming it's Rob Liefeld, and it's actually a lot better than the dialogue in issue #1. There is some expository stuff. This is a big scene, but it's kind of paced really well. So we're getting the origin of Prophet, and we're getting the whole idea of what the mission is. The lettering in this issue, by the way, is way better than that previous issue. That last issue was really poorly lettered. This one's lettered better, but it's lettered by 3 different people, so you'll see the fonts shift and change. And it wouldn't be bad if it was lettered by 3 people that were doing 3 different, or 3 things that were similar, but they're doing 3 very different things, right? So you got the idea that Combat, who's a member of this alien race, him and Cougar, they've been the most character development and interaction that we've gotten in Youngbloods within 2 issues. So we're going right back to them, right? And we're learning a little bit more about these characters, and they're talking about Prophet, like, oh man, like, you know, I'm meant to be like the greatest soldier on my planet, says Combat, and Cougar's talking to him, and then Prophet breaks fucking free, and we got one of these centerfold pages, and it spreads out, and there is Prophet. He's like, what? And we're about to get some ass kicked, y'all. So this is a great page. I love that close-up in on Prophet right there. So we basically get him fighting with Cougar and with Combat. I think this is some really cool, nice, fun, action-packed, oriented layouts from Rob Liefeld. I really like when he's getting into the facial stuff. Some of Rob Liefeld's best inking, I think, is his close-up inking on his faces, like that Prophet right there. But also like that Combat right there. Even at a mid-range, the facial inking that Rob Liefeld does is pretty intense. Very, you could almost call it noodly for what it is. It's a lot of lines that maybe don't necessarily need to be there, but it adds this dynamism that's absolutely fantastic. And I love this initial fight with Prophet. There are some clunky bits, like out of nowhere, Sentinel shows up. None of that shit's led to. Like, maybe we could have got some more storytelling involved where we see the other members of Youngblood kind of hear the commotion and react to it. But he just shows up. They're all fighting. Other people show up. Come on, man. Riptide, tell me you would. Anyway, we're moving on from that. Brahma, Riptide, they all get into the whole thing. And then we get this really interesting double-page spread that I like. I love the design and the layouts. Brahma's done really weird. That's one of those Rob Liefeld's, like, extended-ass torsos or whatever, but as Elon Musk proved recently, it does exist. My favorite thing about that was Rob Liefeld tweeted out that Captain America image and the Elon Musk image, and he's like, I told y'all, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And then out of nowhere, so first of all, Prophet has showed up, and he's like, I'm after the disciples. My mission is to stop the disciples. And you're getting all this information sent to him, and he thinks at first, because Cougar and Combat are not human, he thinks they're disciples, but they're not. And then out of nowhere, the fucking disciples just happen to goddamn show up. They just happen to show up at the same time that Prophet reawakens, at the same time that Youngblood's there to transport him to another fucking place. So it's all filled with convenience. And this was the one that was really fucking jarring. Like, Sentinel coming out of nowhere with the rest of Youngblood. Okay, I can buy that they heard some shit. Why are the disciples... Wait, what? What's going on? And who are the disciples working for? They're working for no other than... What is his name again? I already forgot. Is it Dark Force? Dark Thorn. Kind of forgettable names. And then another giant page splash to end it, where to help save the day, as the disciples show up and Prophet realizes he's now on Youngblood's side, Kirby and the Berserkers show up, and that's the end of the issue. But then we get the flip side, which is a 5-page introduction of Shadowhawk. This is by Jim Valentino, and it is the first appearance of Shadowhawk. So Youngblood number 2, first appearance of Shadowhawk, first appearance of Prophet. So there you go. It's probably the most expensive issue of Youngblood too. So they called it Extra Image, right? We see this repeated in issue number 3. We'll get to that next week when they introduce Supreme for the first time. But basically, it just introduces Shadowhawk. The idea of what is it like to be so mad every time you see the news or read the paper. You're tired of the infestation of crime. They're building up the character of Shadowhawk. We're getting that Jim Valentino work. Love the perspective there on the building. Love the layout on that page. Love the layout here. This is the briefest of introductions. Basically, it just shows up and kicks some criminals' asses. But they're utilizing some really interesting stuff with the emblem right there and with the mask. And I actually really like the Shadowhawk design. I really like Jim Valentino doing it. Obviously inspired by Wolverine. but it works for me, and it's a good setup for what's to come in Shadowhawk. Now, the only Shadowhawk book I've ever read has been issue number 0 by Rob Liefeld, which we covered. We're definitely going to be getting into Shadowhawk soon. But to recap, Youngblood issue number 2, I think a big, vast improvement over issue number 1. Prophet is an interesting character. I have the Prophet series. I'm just missing issue number 8 and 10 of volume 1, and then that will be complete. I plan on going into some Prophet stuff because we got Stephen Platt that comes in to do the artwork there. I absolutely thought this issue was fun. So the last issue, I mean, I think I gave it like a 2.5, but this one I would actually give a 3.5 because we get some nice dynamic layouts from Rob Liefeld. We're getting some really solid inking from Rob Liefeld. We're getting a tribute to Jack Kirby. We're getting a bunch of new concepts introduced. We're actually finally feeling like there's a thread coming together. Youngblood number 1 was initially done to be like an independent black and white comic. It felt a little bit clunky. I think Rob Liefeld was intentionally trying to do the artwork for color. That's why you see use of things like screen tone in that. You don't see that in Rob Liefeld's artwork. You don't see it here because this is more in line with what he's trying to do. Now, I know that there were a lot of problems when they were building up Image and Extreme Studios with lateness and all that kind of stuff. Youngblood was a part of that, but I thought issue 2 really kind of pulled it together and made me a little bit more engaged into the story. The addition of Prophet didn't hurt. The ink work, especially on the faces and the dynamic energy of some of this artwork was really cool. This is stuff directly inspired by Fist of the North Star, another manga and anime like that. And you can totally feel it, but it's got that Kirby vibe as well. So overall, it's not quite as exceptional as what Eric Larson was doing on Savage Dragon, but it's way better than what Rob Liefeld did on Youngblood number 1. It's more engaging. It's more compelling. I love the artwork in it better. I love the anchors that are on most pages, like the Riptide right there, the weird, crazy Brahma stuff, but look at the energy lines in the background. That's that manga kind of vibe and that flow and that feel. There's a lot of struggle against the page count as far as the story goes. It could be evened out a little bit better, but all in all, it was fun, and it was a nice, solid introduction into Shadowhawk that I'm sure at the time would have gotten people really excited for the future of Prophet, Youngblood, Shadowhawk, Jim Valentino, Rob Liefeld, and Image Comics. All in all, I'll give this one a 3.5. I think it's pretty solid. Let's see what everybody thinks. Two Gun says, I'm going to hook you up before Horror Fest. Just wait. Well, Station. You don't have to, but I appreciate it. Sinner says, that's how Image books were back in the 90s, so they weren't really lacking to me. Strife, wait, no, it's the cousin, Darkthorn. Bobby says, I knew a cougar back in the day, but that's a story for a different time. It's crazy how good these guys were with the good markers we have, without the good markers we have now. Yeah, Rob Liefeld used to do this thing where he would like do his thumbnails. He'd blow up the thumbnails and work on them. And I mean, I'll be honest, the artwork in issue number 1 was very clunky. The story was way off. The story coalesces a little bit better here. This feels like this would be a better issue number 1 almost. There's never, though, a proper introduction to these characters. We don't know these characters yet. That does kind of hold it back a little bit, but there is some good energy. So here's my original copy. I say original. This is it. So it flips, and on this side you got the Jim Valentino bit, and that there you could join the Rob Liefeld fan club. I wonder if that's still active. But I really like the Shadowhawk bit. I like the composition and the layouts on it. I'm excited to dive into more Shadowhawk stuff. This one also just is a better product as far as the quality of the paper, the way that the colors work. Colors are still Brian Murray. Color separations by Digital Chameleon. They're still doing the Malibu comic stuff, but actually this is a better quality product as far as paper goes, as far as art goes, as far as story goes. If you were able to, and I think a lot of people were, you know, you want to get into Youngblood. But issue number 1 sold really well. I don't know what the sales were on issue number 2. I'm sure they were still strong. Obviously not anywhere near as strong as issue number 1 would be. But real fun to go through and read these for the first time for me. You know, reading through those earlier issues of New Mutants by Rob Liefeld, which we've covered on Marvel in the 90s or 80s or whatever. There's quite a few of these in here. But Prophet is a character that really intrigues me. I first started reading Prophet a few years ago. There was someone that was doing Prophet books. I cannot remember his name. But it was like an indie kind of art. And I have the little cards. The cards came in all these issues too. No Die Hard in this book. No A-Team. That kind of throws it off a little bit. But I don't care if they're not in here if the book itself is a little bit more fun. So there is that. Coloring's better too. It's not as muddy. It's a little bit more poppy. 3.5. I think that's being fairly generous. But I also like the tribute to Jack Kirby. Right there. Look at that. Good stuff. Was that Jean Grey up there? The fuck? Where did that character come from? I haven't even noticed her yet. Only issue I remember Youngblood was the Playboy Shoot issue. Ooh. I heard about that. Riptide, right? I enjoyed Simon Roy and Brandon Graham's reimagining of Prophet a lot. That's it right there. Hell yeah. PCP opens a mystery box. Get one before they're gone. Thank you so much, Taki. That's right. If you're interested in a PCP mystery box, available right now, email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com. $30. That includes shipping, comics, and surprises, including a sketch from yours truly. Isn't DH getting a one-shot? Is he? I don't know. Dutch is being brought back by Joe Casey, I think, in an upcoming issue of Image, the 30th anniversary. Yeah, Brandon Graham. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Anyway, I liked issue number 2 of Youngblood way more than issue number 1. Issue number 1's very easy to find. You're going to read it. You're going to be like, what? But issue number 2 works. It works for me. When I was reading the Rob Liefeld early New Mutant stuff, and we haven't even gotten to probably the height of that. We're still going to build to that, but we're focusing right now on Youngblood. Issue number 3 next time. I loved it. I thought it was good. Nice, fun, solid Rob Liefeld Youngblood book. I'm kind of more excited. I was kind of disappointed after last week, y'all, I'll be honest. So this has revitalized me. Thank you all for paying attention too. Image in the 90s. All right, there we go. How's everybody doing? It's been a great show already. Yeah, I don't have any of those Prophets, I guess, by Graham. So I need to find them. There was an issue where there's like this trail. There was like a convoy going on with these giant creatures, and they were going through them, like into their mouths and out their assholes or something. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, that was a real thing. I remember that. That shit was good. But I've been getting up volume 1. I'm just missing issues 8 and 10. They're pricey now? Shit. Of course. Darkhawk. Shadowhawk, that's right. All right, let's not waste any more time. Time to get into our top 5 movies of 2011. And honestly, another year that's not quite as good as some of the years we've been talking about, but I do have some honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Captain America, First Avenger, Fast 5, I know, love that movie, and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, as well as X-Men First Class, and The Thing. I know, I actually like The Thing remake, you could call it, but the John Carpenter's The Thing is a remake, right? But this is a prequel to the remake, but I actually kind of like it enough to put it on this list because not a lot of good movies, but at the same time, we're also getting into an era where I wasn't paying as much attention to all of cinema. So there's a lot of movies I didn't watch from this year, but those are my honorable mentions. At number 5, I've got Thor. Kenneth Branagh directed this. I really liked it. This was the early days of the MCU. I thought this was the right approach to take to Thor, kind of like Shakespeare in the Park in the modern days. It kind of lacks the scope and scale in the third act that it has in the first act, and that's kind of makes it a little uneven for me, but all the performances are great, and I think it was good, solid groundwork for where Thor was going to start and then develop into the MCU. At number 4, we got Scream 4. I love this movie a whole lot more than Scream 5 or Scream 3. I think it's the third best Scream movie. I cannot wait to revisit these films for the opening of Horror Fest. At the beginning of September, we're going to be talking about all 5 Scream films, and 4 to me is an underrated, underappreciated classic in the 90s, 2000s slasher genre. I like it. At number 3, we got Fright Night. This is a remake, but I actually really like this remake. Colin Farrell plays the villain, the vampire that Chris Sarandon plays in the original. The cat that played Chekhov in the Star Trek reboot movie franchise, who tragically passed away, plays Charlie Brewster, and McLovin plays Evil Ed. But I love it. They kind of take it to the suburbs of Las Vegas. I really like the vibe and atmosphere of this, the way that it all feels. I think Colin Farrell's great. I think all of the performances are great. I really, really like this remake of one of my favorite vampire films from when I was a kid, Fright Night. At number 2, we're going The Ides of March. The Ides of March came out in fall, not in March when it should. It should have come out as close to March 15th as possible, but this was directed by George Clooney. I'm a big mark for George Clooney. This was a Ryan Gosling film as well. It was co-written by George Clooney, and it's about a politician, and more specifically, it's about a dude who works for this politician. The politician is George Clooney. Ryan Gosling is the dude who works for him, and he really believes in the policy and the message of this politician. But he gets involved in this really seedy, dirty world of the political side of things, right? When you're actually in the world of politics, and it's got some nuance, it's got some depth, and I really remember liking this movie a lot. It's been a while since I've seen it. And at number 1, Cabin in the Woods. This movie actually released in 2012, but it is listed as a 2011 film, so there you go. It's going to be my number 1. Joss Whedon co-wrote this film, I think with Drew Goddard, who directed it. I think I got the right director there. Maybe I'm wrong. I love this movie. Chris Hemsworth's in this movie. He filmed it before he filmed Thor. That's why it's listed as a 2011 movie, because of production times and all that kind of shit. But I like this movie a lot. We covered it for Horror Fest a couple years ago. Definitely check out that video. But it homages so many different horror films, and it does it in such a fantastic way that keeps me engaged with humor, drama, and just amazing what the fuck moments. So to recap, for 2011, my honorable mentions are Captain America: First Avenger, Fast 5, Ghost Protocol: Mission Impossible, X-Men: First Class, and The Thing. And at number 5, I've got Thor. At number 4, Scream 4. At number 3, Fright Night. At number 2, The Ides of March. And at number 1, The Cabin in the Woods. Those are my top 5 movies of 2011. What are yours? You know, we don't usually get a lot of porn bots here on Rockin Robbie Live, so that's interesting. That's been happening tonight. Guess we're hitting the algorithm in some kind of way. All right, let's see what's going on here. William says, 2011 films: Full Metal Alchemist, The Sacred Star of Milos, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, X-Men: First Class, Thor, and Captain America: The First Avenger. William says, Carpenter's Thing follows the Novella Sonata remake. Yeah, but he's a big fan of Howard Hawks, and he wanted, it's a remake, come on. I mean, it's a remake of a movie that's based on a short story, so I get what we're saying there. I get it. You're right. Clipping these top 5s of each year, I thought about it, but then there was a couple years there where I fucked up and left out movies. So I don't know. I kind of abandoned the idea. But I should, shouldn't I? Maybe we'll redo them again. But I thought about clipping them out as like best of the decade or something like that. KR says, holy shit, I love Cabin in the Woods. So good. Hell yeah. Twitch says, at number 5, 50-50, then Rango, then Fright Night, then Cabin in the Woods, then The Muppets. All right. Good top 5. Eric says, Attack the Block, Cabin in the Woods, Captain America. Man, I can't even get to 5 movies this year. Attack the Block, great pick, says KR. I've never seen that one. Two Gun says, Cabin in the Woods, Captain America, The Raid, Redemption, Fright Night, and Columbiana. Not familiar with some of those. Ronald says, Drive was a nice watch. I've never watched Drive. I need to watch it. I guess this was when Ryan Gosling was really kind of peaking. Was this like right after, was the Notebook after, like before or after this or something? But like, I guess he was setting up. Two Gun says, Cabin in the Woods is great. Hell yeah. Well, the porn bots either carry over for Dylan's horror show or it was all the Golden Girls talk. That's what it was. They thought we were saying golden showers. Golden Girls and golden showers or something. Ouroboros Snake says, Drive is a masterpiece. Please watch. Yeah, I actually have intended to watch that. Hell yeah. Anybody else got a top 5 from 2011? No, Zach, I've never seen Super 8 either. That's another one that I've heard was really good from this year, but I've never seen that one. Notebook was like 5 years prior to this. I had buddies that watched it in the barracks. Yeah, so that's what I thought, but like seems like this was a year where he was really starting to come up then. Top 5 or just top 5 movies. Ides of March is not a horror movie. Unless it's a political drama, so that could be horrific, right? Boom, 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 boom. Zach says, I feel like Super 8 would make your top 5. I have to definitely check that one out. We're about to hit a couple years where I didn't watch a lot of movies, to be honest with y'all. So, my top 5s in the 20 teens are going to be, we'll see what happens. But I always wanted to see Super 8. I remember when it came out. 2012 is looking much better. Next week I can make it a top 10, says Eric. Hell yeah. Well, next week we'll be doing 2012. So everybody get your thoughts ready. Now it's time for show and tell. All right, pick this up. I don't get many pops anymore, but when something hits my fancy hard, and I got a Jackie Robinson pop. Jackie Robinson, one of the most impactful and important baseball players of all time for obvious reasons, but also just a fantastic player. But the shit he had to go through. Holy shit. Jackie Robinson. 42, baby. Still need to watch that movie. I'm going to show off Brooks's copy of Stephen King's The Dark Tower. This is the 7th book and final book of The Dark Tower. It's 1,000 pages. It's one of those narrow books, but it's still like small print. It's finally over. When did that Dark Tower movie... When did that Dark Tower movie come out? 2017. That's 5 fucking years ago. So 5 years ago, this Dark Tower movie's about to come out. And I decide, well, before I watch the movie, I'm going to read the books. So I start reading the first book. I read it super fast. I read the second book. Read that super fast. Read the third book. Fourth book kind of get bogged down. Blah, blah. 5 years later, I finished it. It's done. I have read all 7 books of The Dark Tower. I know there's other shit to read. I'm not on that yet. This has been such a burden in my fucking life. I finished this Wednesday night. I have felt so free from burden and strife since. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I know a lot of people don't like the ending of The Dark Tower. It is actually the ending that I thought was going to happen. I'm not going to spoil it for people. But all in all, this was a really nice fantasy epic, man. And it's truly fucking epic. And the books just keep getting longer and longer and longer. God damn. God damn. All right, pick this up this week. Got me a G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 21. I like G.I. Joe. I like the animated series. I like the toys. I had some when I was a kid. I watched the cartoon. But I'm not the biggest G.I. Joe head. And I've never really gotten into the comic. But I've always wanted an issue number 21. This is the silent issue of G.I. Joe. Now, this is a third printing. I believe. Yes. Third printing says clearly right there at the bottom. You can see. And maybe one day I'll crack this open under the camera and in a cartoonist kayfabe type way. They already did it, but this is a silent issue. It introduces Storm Shadow. But I really like this issue. I have a reprint that they did not too long ago, a few months ago actually, like a G.I. Joe, 40th anniversary or some shit like that. But I've always wanted to have this on newsprint. That was important to me because I think the colors look really gaudy on those reprints. So I'm excited to have this. Third printing, I don't give a shit. It's beat up. It was the cheapest version I could find. And it fell into my lap, so. Happy to have a G.I. Joe 21. We were talking about Mobius earlier. The Mobius Epic Collection from Marvel is fantastic. They're expensive. It's hard to get some of this Mobius stuff in America now. It's not really in print. I have already gotten a couple of these, but now I have a third one. This is Mobius 6, which is Farragonesia. Mobius is just a goddamn goat. Master. When I was at Heroes Con, me and Brian got the pleasure of spending some time chatting a couple of times with Stephen Green, who is the artist on Impact Winter, Sea of Stars, and the upcoming 3 Worlds, 3 Moons. And he was telling us, greatest American comic book artist, Kirby. Greatest Japanese comic book artist, Otomo. Greatest European comic book artist, Mobius. From all 3 of these dudes, you get modern comics. And I agree. And the more and more I've gotten into Mobius, the more and more I have fallen in love with his work. I have not read this one yet, but I'm excited. So, in the 80s, Jim Shooter spearheaded a collaboration with Mobius to put in print in English a lot of his work as Mobius, which is his sci-fi type stuff. And you can't really find a lot of it anymore, and it sucks. It sucks. Parable with Mobius and Stan Lee was my first Mobius comic that was the only introduction I had to him for a long time. All right, and finally for show and tell, well, not finally, we actually got something after this. I did pick up the Question Omnibus by Denny O'Neil and Dennis Cohen and Bill Sienkiewicz. Going to meet Dennis Cohen, and Dennis Cohen, going to meet him at the Memphis Comic Expo, so definitely it would be cool to bring this and get it signed, but I have the first few issues as well. I have the first 20 issues of this run. I love this run. It's one of my favorite comic book runs from the 80s. The Question. I am so glad that it's back in print in a beautiful omnibus hardcover. I don't buy a lot of omnibuses, but when I do, they're important to me. This is important as shit to me. So there you go. And that's show and tell for tonight. Actually, there's one more thing. Showed this on Dylan's Horror Show, but they're back, y'all. I got them. I got to give a major shout out to Mike06, who found these and hooked me up with them. The Monster Cereals are back. So available at Sam's is this extra pack where it comes with Count Chocula, and there's new box art. Interesting box art. They all have the X's on their eyes. It's so weird. I guess that's that artist's, whoever the artist is. I guess this is their thing. But Count Chocula, Boo Berry, Frankenberry, and big fucking deal, Fruit Brute is back this year, y'all. So this is the Fruit Brute formula for 2013, I think it was. They brought all 5 back for the first time all at once, and then they've kind of been gone again. Fruit Brute was originally a short-lived cereal in the 70s. I never had the original. It was just like a fruit cereal like Trix, Fruity Pebbles, think that. But now it's a cherry-based cereal. So this should be the same formula that they did in like 2013 when they also re-released Yummy Mummy. No word I've heard on Yummy Mummy, but Fruit Brute is fucking back, y'all. Hell yeah. And I hope you will be able to buy it on its own. And that it's not just available in this box set. But I do have 2 of these box sets to hopefully supply me through Halloween season, Horror Fest year, and beyond. So there you go. And that was Show and Tell. Oh man, that Question Omni is killer. Hell yeah. Third print is the most elusive to find. I've never seen one. I think it's all exactly the same except for that little bit that says third print. But that's the one I got. I paid less than $20 for it, so I was very pleased. Very pleased. That book is not super cheap. The other one that we got in 2 in a collection. The other one was newsprint. Or my bad, not newsprint. They're all newsprint. The other one was a newsstand edition in higher grade first print. And it was way more. It was way more. So I get that one. Get the John Burns FF Omnibus Volume 2. It reprints the entire last Galactus story. I think I have all those issues, actually. I think. Evil Face Bad says, I was wondering if we could take pics of stuff and then send it to you. Will you show the stuff on our stuff on the show too? Our toys and books? Yes. We mentioned that one time, and I think I got one person sent me something, and then I kind of forgot about it. But yes, send your pics to me of your show and tell. Send them to popculturephilosophers@gmail.com. We're on to one of my social feeds. Let's do it. Next week, if we get a few people that want to show off some of their stuff, we'll add you to show and tell. That would be great. I would love to comment on your collections. All right. And that's going to be the show. Once again, I want to tell everybody, we got PCP mystery boxes now available. There are only 10 available for this week. $30. That includes shipping. They're going to be filled with comics. But there are also going to be other little fun surprises in there, including a hand-drawn sketch by me. True Lies, the winner of the PCP Army movie poll for Action Fest 2022. We're talking about that tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time. And on Dylan's Horror Show, Puppet Master and Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl-orama. 2 movies that you will not be disappointed in. They're available on Tubi. So I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you all so much for joining us, liking, sharing, subscribing, do all of that jazz. We'll be back next week. Youngblood number 3. We'll be talking about Halloween by John Carpenter because we're starting Horror Fest early next week here on Rockin Robbie Live. But we can't end without the Final 5. I almost forgot it. But the Final 5, going through the Blu-ray collection, still in the tease, Trinity Blood. I don't collect a lot of anime, but I love Trinity Blood. It's vampires. It's cool. Every episode's basically got the same structure, but I fucking love it. It reminds me of like Power Rangers, but with vampires. Not like Power Rangers. I mean in the structure like Power Rangers, where like it always ends the same way. Dude just powers up and wins. Anyway, True Grit. It's the Coen Brothers film. We talked about that a few weeks ago. True Romance. Love this film. Quentin Tarantino wrote that, but it was directed by Tony Scott. Love that film. Then we got Two Evil Eyes by George Romero and Dario Argento. This is 2 Edgar Allan Poe stories adapted to cinema by 2 masters of horror. And we're going to end it with Ultimate Avengers collection. This is the 2 Ultimate Avengers movies they did, animated films. I remember really liking these. It's been a long time since I've seen them, so maybe we need to check them out again. Anyway, that's been your Final 5. All right, y'all. Taki is throwing out another link. Here's another mystery box Big Herm open. They are legit. Check it out. And Taki purchased one last week. It's on the way, brother. Hope you enjoy it. I had you a nice sketch in there that might be... It's Spawn. I sent you the Spawn one, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I just throw them together. But Appreciate everybody being here tonight. This has been a fantastic show. We're going to be back next week. Everybody, keep it real, keep it live, and remember, wherever you go, there you are. Station, pop, pop, boom. that was the theme to PCP Movie Night, if anybody picked that out. That song, I believe, is called Sonic Pogo by Vans in Japan. I love that little tune. I think it really works for PCP Movie Night. It's our official PCP Movie Night theme song, so you can hear it there. We're going to open up the Jackie Robinson Pop. Pop. Let's do it. So Twitch asked if these mystery boxes are a new round. Yes. Twitch, you got one last week. That is on the way. This is a whole new batch of PCP mystery boxes available. Only 10 for this week, $30 each. That includes shipping, filled with comics and other surprises, like sketches from yours truly. Email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com if you're interested. I'll send you an invoice. You pay it. And there you go. All right, Jackie Robinson Pop. I love it. They really get that old school hat. They really nail the hat. He's fielding. They nail the uniform, the colors on it, the puffiness of the old school. I don't know if I've ever opened up any of my baseball pops. Maybe we need to start doing that when bases loaded time comes around. But yeah, Jackie Robinson, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, the theme to Dylan's Horror Show is dope too. And I've played that before for y'all in full, and we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that next week. And yeah, we do need to turn the AC up because it's not just Rockin Robbie. It's the PCP Army bringing the hotness. Y'all. Speaking of hotness, that's y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. Doop-doop-domp-doop-a-doo-day. That's right, PCP Army. We are now officially in the after credit. Show's not over yet. We still got one last breath. And when you're taking that one last breath in your life and you look back and you think, how's it supposed to feel?
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put it in the ring, you go out in the back, cause I sing what I mean, and I'll bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to fill, I took a red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna lay real, but how's it supposed to feel?
How's it supposed to feel, PCP Army? I wanna know.
How's it supposed to feel?
Life is supposed to feel like fire burning into your desire. Let me know I don't retire, everybody.
How's it supposed to feel?
They wanna say my name. Yeah.
They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, now bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these shit I've been chasing. I got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll feel the seeds as I spread with every word that I said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Got a quick little taste test tonight. Once again, props to Mike the Voice Matthews, who hooked me up with this Cinnamon Toast Crunch creamy cinnamon spread. So do you remember when like Nutella came out and like this, like the whole spreadable thing like came about and everybody was doing it? Like I remember peanut butter cup Reese's had like their little shit. I had that. That was good. All right, so there was an Almond Joy spread. It's pretty good. I had it on bagels occasionally. So I don't really eat right now. I'm not eating a lot of bread and bagels and shit, but I got this and I was thinking this would probably be good. I've been doing these banana smoothies, right? As far as the Star Trek Year 5 thing, I don't know. What's the point of that? Why would that be spec-worthy because of her death? I'm curious. Anyway, so I don't know what it tastes like, Perry, but we're about to find out. So what I was thinking, so I've been making these banana smoothies at night. They're really good. I basically take a banana and a half frozen. I freeze my bananas. So a banana and a half frozen. It's usually about 150 to 160 grams of banana frozen with a cup of vanilla almond milk with a tablespoon of peanut butter. It just makes a really good smoothie. And occasionally I throw in a frozen Butterfinger just to be crazy. But what if I put this in instead of peanut butter? That sounds like that could be good. But we're going to taste test this on its own. Like scoopable with your... I get the death of the actress, but what about that issue in particular? So if this is just spreadable flavor of like Cinnamon Toast Crunch... So that's what it is. So unlock the awesome taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Sweet, irresistible, and spreadable on just about anything. This creamy cinnamon spread delivers the epic taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch with notes of brown sugar and graham flavor. Amp up your favorite foods. Spread on toast, bagels, or sliced apples. Swirl into smoothies. Hey. Oatmeal or yogurt. Ooh, oatmeal. That sounds good. Drizzle on pancakes or ice cream. Issue has her Uhura on the cover. Anything that fall like cover appearances and shit like that would probably be a big deal right now. All right, y'all ready? Texture of peanut butter, creamy peanut butter. Not as thick. Oh. So it has the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, very distinctly the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And it's really good. It's got a creamy texture to it that gives it a little bit of a peanut butter kind of vibe, but not as thick. So it's got the taste, but there is something pasty about it, where the flavor doesn't hit as hard as you would think it would, but maybe that's so it doesn't have as much sugar in as it could. It's pretty damn good, though. I'm going to give it 4.5 you digs. Yeah, I bet that does slap with some cut up apples. I'm going to have to go get some apples. I want to try that in my banana smoothie. I bet that'll be good. Basically a banana cinnamon smoothie. That could be really good. All right, y'all have been dolls tonight. Thank you all so much. Yes, it's a Suspiria shirt. Hell yeah, right? Fuck yeah. How's it supposed to feel? Thanks for watching.